You bird brain.
What do you do, backflips? You jump up there in a silly suit? What do you do?
Yo, bam! I want you to play that.
Hey, good afternoon, everybody. It's a little bit after 3 o'clock, and we are ready to rock. Fast Freddie here at the Youngstown Studios in downtown Youngstown. We're in kind of a new studio here today. This is something a little bit different here. This is our new porno studio. This is where we have a little side business here with making porno flicks, and that's why we brought Jerry Centifanti in here today to help us break into the studio. Yeah, you got a little funky. There we go. And in comes Jeremy.
I would have brought my Wawa.
Oh, that's what you need.
We were going to do this today.
Right. Okay, we'll get that rolling here. And also our special guest this afternoon, Tom Figinsky from Left End. Tommy, good to see you, man.
Good to see you. Good to be here.
We've been trying to get Tommy on the show here for a while, and hopefully Dave Ditzler is going to stop by this afternoon. The commissioners' meeting is running a little long today, so
every Thursday they have them.
So we'll see what happens.
Anthony was, and they just texted me. They're running late overtime. You're going to try and make it in.
Yeah, because Dave Ditzler, of course, owned the arcade for many, many years.
He did.
A fun Youngstown rock club, and he was going to come in here and talk about some of the great stories from there. But we got Tommy here that could jump right in, because now Left End there in the 80s, you guys were playing there all the time.
All the time. I remember playing for him when he took over the place and stuff. Yeah, we did a lot of shows.
Dave was the biggest Left End fan of anybody I know. I started working with Dave at Sheet and Tube in he came out of high school, 1975. I started there in 73. And all he would talk about was Orange Room and Left End. You know, he just loved Left End.
Now, see, that's one of the rules that we have on this show. Every week on this show, we have to mention Left End, we have to mention Boots Bell, we have to mention the Tomorrow Club.
Michael Stanley.
Yeah, Michael Stanley. And what's the other one? There's one more. I know we're missing one in there. Idor Park, too. Idor Park. We got to mention Hot Day.
Yeah.
It's not a complete show. That's the only rules that we have on this show here, is that we have to mention every one of those every week.
And we just did that.
Yeah, there we go. I know. Well, Tommy's got a ton of stories. You got stories about every one of those, I would imagine.
I have nothing.
Oh, his mind's a blank.
I have nothing. I'm a total blank.
Well,
yeah, right.
I played, like I said, there in the 60s, early 70s, but those Left End ruled there, Hot Day.
Oh, yeah.
You know,
now
they quit having teen dances, you know,
right,
in the ballroom. That just went away for some reason. I don't know why. You guys didn't do teen dances. Dennis did with the Pied Pipers.
Yeah,
he was always there.
I remember going to the teen dances and watching Dennis with the Pipers and the Human Beings and all that.
But every Hot Day it was Left End.
Hot Day, and they had them inside sometimes.
Yes.
Sometimes we did outside.
I saw you once inside.
Yeah.
Where? What was your first year you started doing those?
Oh, jeez. I have no idea. It had to be like 73.
Was the makeup
somewhere around
in
there?
effect then?
Yeah, because we had a talking lady out at the
Who
time.
Who climbed on the roof of the ballroom one time and cut his arm? You guys are doing gypsy.
I don't remember.
Was that Odie?
It might have been Odie.
Yeah, I think Odie was
Odie.
Yeah.
That did that, yeah.
Odie had the Panther tattoo on his arm.
Odie Crook.
Yeah, I remember the blood. Okay, that was. That cleared
man,
that up for me.
He was a wild man.
Oh yeah, Odie. As a matter of fact, somebody sent me a T-shirt from the memorial
Bands and
show
Friends.
that you guys did at the B&B backstage, and boy,
Yeah.
what a lineup of talent that was that day.
I think we opened the show that day because nobody wanted to open the show, but we didn't care. I get to leave early.
Yeah.
I just hung out all day.
Yeah, I figured
I was
you'd be
with
there
Carl
all day.
Severino way back then. And they had a million bands there. Puma was there. Brainchild. Ronnie Lee was there for that one. I mean, everybody flew home to rally the troops for Odie.
Oh yeah, the Fuzz with Danny Pecchio and
Mikey Baranski.
Yeah.
Yep.
Well, those were some good bands.
Yeah,
That was a
all
heck of a
day long. It rocked. You and I. Remember You and I? I don't know if you remember You and I. That was Odie's band. And they had some of the greatest musicians in that band. That was the most fun band. They had a guitar player by the name of Craig Suhar. Have you ever heard of Craig?
Yeah.
Awesome guitar player.
Yep.
Went to Cheney, class of 74. But he played with him. Nicky Salpetra. Remember Nicky?
Mm-hmm.
Peach. He played with the Great Lakes Band. Little
Oh, Great Lakes, they were a fun band.
Icky was with that band. Jimmy Centifanti, my cousin, he played with a band called L.A. Freeway, I think. And then they was Parasite. Remember Parasite?
Vaguely.
Make my head. There's so many good bands around here.
Oh, it was just incredible.
I could talk all night
And
about
then
it.
they ended with, they brought, Joey Pizzullo came back
See?
when Brainchild came
Yeah,
out. And
yeah.
Pizzullo and I think maybe even Buddy Cataffa may have sang. And then they had a couple women back.
But he was there, but I don't think he was singing that.
And then they did, was it People Get Ready? And
Yeah.
Ronnie Lee sang it.
Hell yeah.
And then,
He just passed away. Rest in peace, Roddy.
that's right.
Oh, man.
That's right.
Dropping like flies.
Dropping like flies.
But I'll tell you, man, when it came to Hot Day, Left End, you guys just ruled that. It didn't matter who the headliner was. Well, they always had the Bobby Sherman, the teeny bopper guy,
David
whoever it would have been,
Cassidy.
David Cassidy, the Franco family or whatever. But, man, there were so many people there to see you guys. I mean, you guys just, like, ruled that whole scene there.
For a long,
The
long
apartment,
time.
too. They were.
They had bands playing on the other end too, and then they would announce over the PA, that we were coming on and stuff, and you see these droves of people coming down the Midway, trying to get
Oh,
into
yeah.
that stuff. But, well, Dennis was always the show. He was always the guy everybody wanted to know what's Dennis gonna do.
He was mesmerizing in the Pied Pipers to me.
Yeah. Oh, first time I ever saw Dennis, I thought, wow, he had the black leather glove.
Yeah.
I thought,
Shark tooth used
look
to
at
wear.
this guy, he's got a black leather glove. That was the greatest thing. Then he had the suit of lights, which he eventually electrocuted himself with. Him and Jim Baker.
Jim Baker. You know
They
that.
came up with the
Youngstown.
idea.
Hell yeah.
They went to Greenwich Village or something like that. Next thing you know, he showed up, and Dennis's hair was all like freaked out and stuff. And then he had this suit of lights on. And he had
Yeah.
sewn in these Christmas
Christmas lights.
and he went plugged himself into the wall. And so he comes walking out and they're blinking and stuff, and people go, wow. Then he touched the mic and got electrocuted. Yeah, Dennis always had something going.
Everybody probably thought that was part of the show. They probably
yeah.
thought that was a cool thing. Yeah, dude.
Plus, he could sing on top of it.
And
Oh.
plus,
But when he played with the Pipers, he sang. He didn't sound anything like he did with.
no, he was real clear voice.
Crisp and
Very
clear. He
high.
sounded almost like a chipmunk. Like one of the
Very
chipmunks. He
high.
sang
Uh-huh.
so
Now, what
high.
kind of songs were they playing?
They do
back
like
then?
you don't. They do rhythm. They were more R&B stuff. They started getting heavier towards the end.
Right.
But the Pied Pipers I remember well was Pete Pompora, bass guitar, Les Morrow on guitar, Letty Krispinski on drums, Kenny Nash rhythm guitar, and Dennis. And they were great band. I mean, they were but they were more funky. You don't know like I know. They do like Hey Joe, hold on, I'm coming.
Right.
Stuff. But they didn't have horns. But the guitar player would,
Yeah.
play the horn parts on the
Uh-huh.
guitar. They were just a great sounding, good harmonies, and the vocals, like I said, were the front of that band.
Right.
And but then they got heavier as the guys left.
Right.
One guy got a job as a teacher, and he ended up with Bradley Naples on drums, one of the greatest drummers ever. You remember Bradley?
Mm-hmm.
Todd Stevenson, bass guitar. Remember Todd?
I bought his Marshall.
Another
I
great-
used his Marshall that I bought from him. For
Another
years.
guy that just passed away within the last couple of months, Tony Palkovic, played guitar. They changed their name to just the Pipers. And that's where they were really
Really just start cranking.
start getting heavy.
Start getting
yeah,
heavy.
that could have been a precursor to Left End for me.
Uh-huh.
But he still had that clean, getting a little grittier,
Yeah.
voice. But not till he started playing. But if you listen to Taking Time by
Right.
Left End, you're taking time to
Which is a
sing.
little-
What's the intro to that song?
Taking
The,
time.
the intro to that is fantastic.
Yeah.
Actually, that might be my favorite Left End song.
It's a
really.
D, it's a D chord. We can't sing his shit, but
Oh man,
we can play Dennis.
That's pretty good, man.
We
That's
played
pretty
Dennis's
good.
part.
So, do you still have the silver David Bowie suit that you used
No,
to wear?
the Jiffy Pop
The Jiffy-
corn.
Oh, the Jiffy Pop. You still got this Jiffy Pop suit?
That was made out of like a silver plastic. The pants were made out of plastic. We would sweat with those things. And then for the album cover, I borrowed Roy had a silver leather jacket, and I was wearing Roy's jacket for that, and silver boots. And, geez.
That's the thing about you guys. You would always put on a show, though, man. I mean, it was more than the music. It was the total package. And I remember when I first started seeing you guys, when I was old enough to go out to places.
Remember Sundays at the apartment?
Oh,
Teen Day?
yeah, oh, yeah.
Sorry, go ahead.
And right across the street here at the YMCA, where
Yeah.
you guys used to play the dances down here, man.
Young,
I'll tell
Gifted,
you.
and Brown with the Blaylock.
oh, yeah.
Remember Milton and Gary Blaylock used to play there? We
Oh,
had
yeah.
dances everywhere in Youngstown. There was
Teen
always something.
dances used to be the thing.
There was
I-
stuff for kids to do, man.
I know. And
There's
it would
shit
be
for kids to
packed.
do
I mean,
now.
how many big gigs did you play? Like, I remember I said, there was that one at the Ukrainian Hall with like Biggie Rap.
Yeah,
and
remember that?
Left
Yeah.
End.
You remember
and
there's-
Was that on Still
Brainchild.
Street?
I think
Yeah,
so.
Still Street.
Yeah,
Still
right.
Street, yeah.
Do you
right.
remember the It Jams?
No.
They used to call it the It Jams. It was just, this is still when I was a teenager, The apartment, I remember one day Joe Walsh was there. Keggy was sitting on top of a stack of amplifiers. You just walk in and see stuff like that,
It was just crazy back in the day. We were just such a music town. Why do you think that was? Why do you think that Youngstown was
I've known-
just such a music
Tom's
town?
got 4 years on me, and I've known him as a guitar player since I was a little kid. That's how we know each other.
Well, I think the music was better then, for one thing.
Oh, yeah.
But I mean, when we started coming into our own was right after soul music was the big deal, and, that was the stuff, But then it started to change a little bit. You started hearing about Hendrix and stuff, and so Left End changed with that. We changed the name of the band. Actually, Left End used to be the Soulsations.
I used to go hear them with
That was
the Wilson
before I
boys.
was in the band,
They played the Orange Room all the time.
and then
What was that called? The Gazebo Room.
they were.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then when they asked me to come in the band, that's when I decided to change the name to Left End. And then we did, Grand Funk Railroad, Jethro
Yeah.
Tull, that kind of stuff.
I remember hearing you guys do "Take Me Back to the Water."
Yeah.
You guys used to do that. Odie, that's when Odie was with you.
We had two lead singers, Billy Collington and
Oh.
Odie Crook.
Yeah,
Two lead singers before Dennis.
two
Uh-huh.
great singers.
Yeah.
Billy Collington's one of my favorite
Yes,
singers.
absolutely.
Now, what got you into music? Were you like one of these guys, the Beatles, make you pick up a guitar, or what
Yes.
was it? The Beatles,
Well, it was
Ed
actually
Sullivan.
It was before the Beatles.
Yeah, we
Uh-huh.
got into it before them.
Like when I was young, I was probably 9 years old. My dad played a few chords. We used to play on the porch and sing and stuff, and my sister played a little guitar, and so I thought I might want to learn how to play guitar. So I started taking lessons and stuff, and all the Misty and Tenderly and all that kind of stuff.
The American
Mel Bay and all-
Standard Songbook, right.
And then the
I didn't
Beatles
even
came
get
out.
that.
And like She Loves You, and that was it for me. I said, I quit. I don't want to learn any of this, but I could hear it and I could figure it out.
Yeah.
So the Beatles kind of changed it for me, and then right with them was Stone and all that. So that's what changed me.
But lessons still played a big part in us even playing guitar. I think.
Oh, absolutely.
We get somebody put it in our hands. Somebody showed us how to. I mean, just when we were kids, fretting the F note was
Yeah.
pain. Couldn't do it. And the guitars that we learned on were total shit.
Uh-huh.
They weren't nice sleek
Yeah.
machines like this.
Yeah.
They had either really good or really bad. And you could have got a really good guitar. You were really lucky.
So where did you get your first guitar?
Well, I played my sister's guitar which is a Gibson ES 125, I think it was.
Like a jazz
Uh-huh.
box.
Yeah, it was like a hollow body with a
Cool
P90
guitar.
pickup on it.
Yeah.
And then my first guitar was a Fender Jazzmaster.
Oh.
And I started with that, and then after that, then I bought my first Les Paul, and then I had a couple Les Pauls after that. And then I went to Stratocasters.
The Jazzmaster was actually a better, more expensive guitar than the Stratocaster.
Yeah, it
that was their
was.
top of the line.
Yeah.
The Jazzmaster. But the Strat, persevered. Just like the 335 is more popular than the 355. That red guitar like Chuck Berry uses.
Right.
No, every guy wants the ones with the plain ones with the dot decks. But me, I like it blinged out.
Yeah. Got to, man.
You got a twinkle.
Got
I
to.
don't care.
Now, what was the first band that you played in?
First band was called The Unruled, and Patsy Palumbo was the drummer in that band. And
I remember
we used
that.
we used to play sock hops, and we'd do weddings and college parties and stuff like that. And then I can't remember why, but for some reason we changed it to Cherry Pop and spelled it P-A-U-P because you had to spell it differently.
Right.
You know, after the Beatles, you got to be spelled differently.
Yeah.
Right.
And we changed it to Cherry Pop, and we continue there. And then I quit for quite a while. I hadn't played for years, and
How long did you quit for?
I don't know, 5-6 years anyway.
I did that.
I didn't even own a guitar, and Pat called me one day.
Uh-huh.
He said, "Hey, we're looking for a guitar player in the Soulsations band. Would you want to come and try out?" I told the guys about you, and I said, "Oh man," I said, "I haven't played." And I said, "I don't even own a guitar." So Jimmy Puhala had an extra guitar and an extra amp, so I said, "All right, I'll show up and I'll play his guitar." And never had a chance to practice at all. Just kind of
Right.
showed up,
I can't believe you went.
Yeah. Yeah, no guitar, no amp. Here I am.
And
What do you got?
And
That
all
took
of a sudden,
balls
then,
for Tom.
then it started taking off from there. Then you guys
Yeah.
changed over to Left End, and
Yep.
then now when did Left End really start kicking in? When did you guys really feel that you were catching on?
Initially, a lot of bands were catching on. As far as in town, they were. You always went by the draw. Who's drawing the crowds?
Soulsations were huge.
Soulsations were big. There was a lot of bands.
A lot of fans
clubs.
they had, boy.
So you guys were already the band already had
Yeah.
like a following before you even changed the name. So you guys
yeah.
were out there.
Yeah, it wasn't a huge following, but
Right.
Pretty huge enough.
Everybody had their clique of people that would follow them. Their friends and their neighbors and their aunts and their uncles.
Soulsations were an East Side, South Side band.
There you go. Yeah. But where I noticed a difference is when it was really from Dennis, and he wanted to, before he even got in the band, he says, I want to go somewhere. We're going to write originals.
Right songs.
Yeah, I don't want to be in this town forever. So we tried our hand at writing originals. We ended up coming up with Sunshine Girl, and then we did Bad Talking Lady.
Not bad for a first.
Yeah, you had to sit down
one
and
out of
just,
the box.
let's scribble out a few songs.
That was the very first song.
You know what's cool though? When I first heard these songs on the radio, I immediately knew who it was.
Oh yeah.
Like we were talking earlier. You hear the Beatles. If you hear, it doesn't matter who's singing in that band. You know it's the Beatles.
Yeah.
Or even by
Oh,
themselves.
you got to do the intro to Sunshine Girl. You want to do that one?
You remember that one?
Maybe. And the beauty about the band and the originals from Left End too, you got these great riffs, and then the songs just all had such great hooks. I think now did Dennis write the lyrics? Did you guys all do it, or what was the songwriting process for Left End?
That was a hodgepodge of things. Usually for the music, I was involved with that, and Roy was too. Him and I would get together once in a while. Used to spend a lot of time at home, like working on a song, and I'd come in, I'd had everything. I had all the changes, the solos, the vocals, and the stuff. And that's when we became the Left End debate team. And so what would happen is, Dennis would go, well, I don't really kind of like this part here. We should change that. Okay.
Yeah.
And Pat would go, well, I think the beat needs to be different. Okay, we'll change that. And everything. So that kind of evolved at what I started doing. I would write ideas down, and I wouldn't spend a lot of time with them. And then I would come in with a cassette tape, and I'd give it to Dennis, look, this is my latest idea. See what you come up with. And then he would take it home, and then next practice he would come in, and he would, this is what I got for that. You're going to like this. So then we work on that, and then it kind of took off from there.
So everybody had
He
some
planted
sort
the
of input in
seed, and
there.
then everybody,
Yeah.
so everybody
Yeah.
wrote their own parts, basically.
Right. Oh, that's pretty
Except
cool.
like when there was like the harmony parts, like Sunshine Girl.
Yeah.
And Jimmy always was a solid lead rhythm player, but he hang with him on the parts where he needed to. You know what I mean?
Jimmy was a funky guy.
Funky.
I kind of leaned towards funk.
Yeah,
myself,
they were a funky rock band.
you
is
know,
what
but
they
Dennis
were.
was full out rock and roll guy.
I think,
you know. And so that was kind of the combination of the band, how it turned out. Roy was a funk guy, you know, so
They came from soul chasing.
yeah.
Right.
And, well, that music was so good back then.
It was.
Oh, it was awesome.
It was all good.
Motown sound was awesome, so.
Yeah, you know, we grew up in such a great time with music because all this stuff was new. You know, everything the Beatles were doing, every time they would come out with something else, it was new.
Yeah.
And, you know, the whole Motown and the soul and everything, all those songs were new. You know,
Yeah.
I mean, people were hearing these songs that we're hearing 50 years later that still sound good.
still
But when they
sound good.
first come out, and we were just bombarded with that everywhere.
Well, the radio,
you know?
too, played a diverse selection, too. You'd hear The Rapper by the Jaggers, and then We Ain't Got Nothing Yet by the Blues Magoos, back to back. You know?
Oh, yeah.
It wasn't a funk station or a soul station.
Right, or you might even then you'd hear Elvis and you'd
Yeah.
hear Led Zeppelin or something.
I think like with this satellite radio shit with these theme channels,
Right.
I want to hear different. I got everything on I have Spotify. I make my own playlist.
Uh-huh.
I'll go from War to, Metallica. You know?
Right,
You know what I
right.
mean? To like, I don't hear the same shit over and over.
And that's how it was back then, you know, like when we listened to, WHOT, which was our big station, and then,
Right.
of course, the Wizard.
They played everything.
But that was the whole thing, was the variety of, and like Hot Day was even kind of representative of that, because you would hear David Cassidy or
Yeah.
these bubblegum bands
Right.
or Bobby Sherman, but then all of a sudden you'd hear Left Hand on there.
They
or,
played with
or-
the Eagles one day there.
Oh, yeah.
They played with the Eagles.
That'd be a trip.
Yeah, tell me a little bit about that, when you guys played with the Eagles at Idora Park.
The only thing I remember about them, they were real casual. And they were wearing like football jerseys or something,
They
and
played and sang like motherfuckers.
yeah, and they were real laid back.
I mean,
I know Pat had talked about. Said that he was in the dressing room with him and talked to him. I don't ever remember talking to him for me anyway.
Uh-huh.
But I just remember that when they came on and played, it was like, that's it, we quit. The vocals the songs were great, and they were great. And that was, they had like, I think, Witchy Woman out at the time. They were new.
That was a great
Yeah.
song.
They were new on the scene, so they were on the uprise.
Yeah, I just saw that one concert they did. Well, they got two of them. They always show them on that Access TV. They did one from Melbourne, and there's another one. And it's just amazing, though, the sound
Yeah.
that they
Like
get
perfection.
live
But
to,
even-
to this day.
Yeah.
And you just sit there and you're like,
If you listen
in
to the
awe.
stuff with Randy Meisner and who was the guitar player? I can't remember the poor bastard's name. They forced him out.
Oh, Don Felder.
No, even the other guy. Who's got Bernie Lee.
Yeah.
Listen to those Eagles.
I know.
Phenomenal.
Yeah.
They weren't quite as polished and perfect, but they were raw and really. Those are the ones he played.
Yeah,
Boy, were
exactly.
they fucking good.
Yeah, they were.
Yeah, when you watch some of
I
the old
miss that.
videos and you see those guys, like you say, they were just out there in jeans and T-shirts, and they had that kind of laid-back Southern California vibe that
Yeah.
was
I
going
remember
on
calling
at the
my
time.
doctor one morning, and I'd be calling to work when I used to work in the mill. I said, I can't come to work. And they said, why not? I said, I was told to take it easy. He said, did you go to the doctor? I said, no, an Eagles concert.
The Eagles told me. Yeah, that was a good time.
I
How
did
about
that.
like I say, keeping with some of the things that we got to talk about. How about Boots Bell? What was you have any relationship with Boots Bell or run into Boots?
Not
or-
much, other than like everybody else in town. He was everywhere.
Uh-huh.
Yes, indeedy, duty daddy. Have yourself a happy or something.
Right, right.
But, yeah, and he just had that voice. He had a commanding voice, and he had a commanding look.
Yeah.
So he just had to stand there, and you knew, who is this
Built
guy?
like a fire plug. I mean,
Yeah.
And but he had that voice was just real dramatic. I said it was a great voice. But,
The pipe.
and
that
he was
the-
everywhere, and he had the cane. He walked
Yeah.
around with the cane and stuff. So yeah, he was the guy.
Yeah, he was an original, and that was the whole thing too. Everything about him. His posture, his voice, his look. He'd come out with that goatee,
Yeah,
and he'd
yeah.
always be wearing some kind of crazy hat or some kind of outrageous jacket.
Yeah, he
and
has
the
picture
cane
on his
and
Volkswagen.
smoking the pipe or whatever.
He had his
and-
picture painted on his car.
Yeah, a picture painted on his car and stuff. I mean,
That
he
takes
was
balls.
just-
I
he
mean,
was
if I had
just
my
out there.
picture on my car, people would be keying it.
We do anyways, no matter what.
I know.
Now, how about the first time you heard a Left End song on the radio? Do you remember that?
I remember.
It probably was Sunshine Girl. But it had
The first
to be.
one I heard was
Bad Talking Lady.
Take It Time.
Oh.
No, What was the other one you had?
I don't know. But
Sunshine.
I do
Taking
remember.
Time was the first one I heard on the radio. I was driving up Market Street Bridge in my Vega. I remember.
What was that song that Tom Hanks or the movie that thing you do? You ever see that movie?
Yeah. Tom
Yeah.
Hanks.
Yeah, he was like the promoter guy
Right.
or something like that. But there's a scene in there where these young guys are trying to do something,
Great movie.
and they did a recording, and the first time they're driving down the road and they're hearing their recording on the radio, they freaked out. And I could relate to that because that's how
Yeah.
I was too. It's just like I can't believe I'm listening to the radio.
Well, the thing was, they didn't even announce. The song started. They didn't say who it was till after the song was over.
Yeah.
And I knew immediately who it was.
Right.
Because I was used to hearing that. I heard the band a million times. I used to always follow. Then Dennis's voice though was burned in my brain. So yeah, you knew they had that sound. You knew when it was left in.
Now, was Left End, was that the first vinyl that you put out, or do you have any vinyl records out before that? Because that was also a big thing back in the day, too, for a
We
band.
had a record
Boy,
out,
if you
yeah.
pressed a record,
Right.
that meant you were on the way to somewhere
To
or
stardom.
something.
You
You
were
know,
on
when
the
you
way.
had that record.
Dennis sang on our Next of Kin's record. He sang backups for us.
Uh-huh.
Because Pete Pompora, who played with the Pipers, I mentioned him earlier, he was like our producer. He'd write our music for us. You know.
Yeah, so that had to be cool. Like when you got that
Dennis.
first 45 or whatever, and you're
Oh,
looking at it,
yeah.
and it says Left End on there.
Well, we started with
The red one.
we came up with the idea of making it, and because it was our record company.
Right.
You know, so we called it Red Records. Like, we got to get this red vinyl. I'd seen it somewhere, so we got to get this red vinyl. So we got the red vinyl. I think that was that Bad Talking Lady or Sunshine?
Red
No,
Dog Hide.
I think that was Bad Talking Lady on that.
Yeah, and Taking Time, I think, was the flip side of that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I think I don't know.
That's a great song.
I don't remember stuff, but
It is.
Someday I Will Seize My Fate.
the thing about it though is that you could see when you did that, you had a record on the radio. Next thing you know, you go to play the club, and all of a sudden it's packed.
Uh-huh.
Although we always got good crowds anyway,
Right,
but
yeah.
I mean it's like standing room only. You know, fire marshal got to get rid of it, people. You know, and that was back when you could be low power and high power. You could be 18 and get in.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You just got a low power stamp stuff, so it was jammed.
Oh, that when they changed that. As a matter of fact, you know, when I was hoping that Dave would make it down here because, you know, somebody posted a flyer from the arcade.
arcade.
It got so many hits and views, and everybody had comments about
There's a
that.
different flyer like that every week. Though.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We ran bands 5 nights a week.
Yeah.
And it was talking about their vote yes on issue 1 because
Yeah.
issue 1 was the issue
Killed
that,
us.
that killed everything because
Yeah.
once they said 18-year-olds couldn't drink, I mean that just cut everybody out because now
Cut
you're
it
even
down,
cutting
yeah.
the 16-year-olds out that were coming in
Yeah.
on an 18-year-old ID.
On the other hand, though, I made a lot of money selling fake IDs.
Yeah, there you go. So
It figures.
there's that.
It's outside all the way, right?
Yeah.
Cloud has a silver lining.
And those were back in the day when it didn't really take much to have a fake ID.
No,
You
it
didn't
was
have
easy.
pictures and, you know,
I used to get
something-
pulled over and have no. I'd give him my brother's social security number.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, you did back then, man. You
My
know,
brother and I are like this.
As long as it was close, as long as you showed somebody at the door something that said 18 on it, you were in.
You could get away with everything. Back
Yeah.
then. Now they got you before they pull you over.
Yeah,
Oh,
it's
they got some-
crazy.
It's not
Yeah.
fair. I don't think it's
But
fair.
that really did hurt the bar business and the music business, especially.
How about when
because
they lowered
how
the limit? That's killed us.
Oh,
I was playing
yeah.
at the Chalet one night, I remember.
Mhm.
And that was the night they lowered. There was a Pennsylvania trooper sitting right in front, across from the place. Well, that's going to encourage business.
Oh, yeah.
It just killed everything.
Oh, it did.
Well, the Mad Mothers Against Drunk Drivers came out and stuff, and they really
Which
started.
is a good organization.
Watch. Yeah. You
I
can't,
I
it's a
belong to
good thing.
DAM, actually.
What's
Drunk
damn?
drivers against mothers.
Drunks against bad mothers.
I don't care if they're mad.
But yeah, everything kind of hit at one time. You
Yeah.
know, like it really cut the crowd down
Yeah.
at least by half.
Yeah, people don't realize how that really affected not just the bar business, but every single aspect of that. I mean, guys that sell potato chips in
Yeah.
the bar, people that sell napkins and everything.
Everything.
You know, the kitchen equipment and food and
They can't even charge a cover now.
I know,
'Cause people don't really, drink.
you know, how things have changed.
I'm
from,
afraid to drive home from a gig if I drink.
from
you know?
back. Oh yeah,
You know, one thing though that I remember back then. First of all, there was a lot of really good local bands, good local musicians, good bands, a lot of places to see a band. But going to see a band, that was it. That was the thing.
Oh, I know.
That was like number one on almost everybody's list, whether you wanted to listen to music or a certain kind of music, or
And everybody had a band.
or dance, whatever it was. But everybody was going out. That was the thing to do. And so, that's kind of
Yeah, when you look at that arcade schedule, live bands, 5 nights a week, 6 nights a week. Where do you find that
Right.
anymore? Most places don't even have a Friday and a Saturday.
Dave had all good bands there too. There's not one scrub in the whole bunch. They were all the top bands.
Yeah, I was looking at that. Flashbacks, Left End, Link, Sojourn, Hearn
Yeah,
Brothers,
all big
U.S.
bands.
Kids, Fast Forward,
Prisoner.
B.E. Taylor.
Donnie Santarelli's band, Prisoner.
Yeah, Prisoners with
They were
a
good.
spelled differently. With a,
P-R-I-Z.
Yeah.
Eddie Young. Good
Yeah.
band.
Yeah.
You got to spell different.
But, and that was like, every night you can go see a live band. And that wasn't the only place. And that's another thing that I think I
The
look
Park
at.
Inn ran good bands too.
And a lot of other people, I think, there's no such thing anymore as a real rock club. The
No,
arcade
the
was
closest
a real
to it right
rock
now.
club.
You know who's doing so? I gotta give a shout out to my man Israel.
Yep.
Israel, God bless you, brother. Wish you all the success in the world. He's the only one that's doing it. He pays the bands what they want, what they're worth.
Yep.
Okay, and he don't bitch.
And I'll tell you, that's
Two
one
clubs
thing.
he got now.
That's one thing too, man. I mean, he booked up all the good bands during this pandemic. He's got them all wrapped up. He's
He's just, he's the only one trying to do something. And I thank him for that.
Yeah.
He doesn't have to do that. He can sell his food. Can sell that restaurant himself.
Oh, sure.
It's good, But he goes the extra.
Yeah,
he wants it all.
He's doing with the bands, but it's still not though like a rock club.
No, but but he has a
every
nice
place now-
stage. He's one of the only places that has a stage in both bars.
Right.
Where we can fit up there.
Yeah.
We're not on the corner like with the Kirby sweeper.
Yeah, like an afterthought there, yeah.
With the poles.
Yeah,
right.
with the dartboard.
And he got a sound system in both clubs too.
You got to watch out if they're throwing darts.
You don't have to rent a PA to go in there.
Yeah.
Markovich Jam Sound got PAs in both places.
Yeah. But yeah.
Markovich is going to be on the Jetsons. He's been around.
Yeah. But you just don't see those places like you used to have.
No.
Like it was just a rock.
You remember that
club.
like Scandals out in Warren?
Yeah.
It was an old theater. They turned into a rock club.
Right.
Those are the days.
Yep. Scandals and.
I used to play at a place in Worcester, a theater. Oh, they turned into a rock club.
Seclusions
Yeah.
on
I
Elm
think I played
Road
there.
and.
Worcester.
Wooden Nick. Wait, what was that
That
place?
was an old theater, wasn't it? The Worcester, the one in
Yeah.
Worcester? Nice
Did you play there?
Yeah, we played there. Yeah,
I played there with a band. Remember a band called Poltergeist?
Yeah.
That was my band. I played with that band for a while. And then I played with TKO. I had a bunch of bands back
Yeah, I
then.
remember TKO too.
I didn't stay with them I was with Route 66, remember that?
Yeah, oh yeah.
I mean, I played in like 50 bands, I had to get it all in.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. And even like the Orange Room, you can consider that a rock club. Now you guys
Yeah,
own the Orange Room on what, Sunday nights? That
Sunday
was
night.
how
It was
long did
kind
you
of
guys
small
play
though,
out
on
there?
the small side there.
It was small, but
Yeah.
every Sunday night.
Packed.
Which at the same time, the Youngstown Agora, Tomorrow Club, then the Youngstown
Wow.
Agora and stuff, they were having all these up and coming national bands Sunday nights.
Right.
Yeah.
So sometimes that made a big dent. But after the show, then they would come out because they're already out. So they come to the Orange Room and stuff, and
Right.
they'd be packed at 2:00.
We always went out after the gig even.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, we didn't just, we'd play a wedding, or something, like when I was with the Sensations, and
Well, that'd be good too because the wedding would be over at 10. You'd probably be
11.
packed up by 11, 11:30.
Park Inn
and
was
then-
open until 7 a.m.,
Yeah.
or so we thought.
Yeah, right. but then the place would still be open until 2:30. Now that's another thing. I think a big change is with this pandemic for this past year. Are people in the groove now of going out at 7 o'clock and wrapping up at 11 or 12?
I like playing 7 to 10.
So do I.
I miss it
Yeah.
already.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I played a couple of gigs filling in for our DNA,
Yeah,
the boys,
right.
and it was nice.
What time are you
now,
I get it before the news come on.
now you got to go back to playing at midnight or 1, and you're like,
Well,
it's a little past my
fortunately, the house
bedtime now."
band doesn't do a lot of bars.
Uh-huh.
We're more of a wedding, festival,
Right.
part. So I think the only bars we'll probably play will be Israel's bars when we start playing again.
Yeah.
See, when you were young, you could play that 10 to 2. Okay, and then immediately you've got to go to breakfast.
Exactly.
Oh yeah, remember Luciano's or Raymond's?
Yeah, you got to go there, and then next thing you know,
The fights
3:30 in
would
the
start-
morning,
oh, yeah,
you're walking in the house, you know.
Oh yeah.
I'd be up all night.
And usually getting up to go to work in the morning. You know?
I used to wear a 3-piece suit into the mill. Platform shoes. And then I ran a crate, so I didn't get dirty.
Yeah,
I'd bring a
remember
friend
some
with
of those
me.
days too. And then, then by the time you play, 2:30 comes around. Then the bar owner wants to have a drink with you.
Yeah.
And then maybe he's trying to beat you down if the crowd was slow or whatever. You guys probably didn't really have that.
That's something I wanted to talk about. The now, like back in the day, there's a lot of people would come out, so you'd have a really nice crowd. If you go to a crowd and have a crowd that was like maybe 150 people, next thing you know, the club owner's coming up to you, come around and talk to you.
Yeah.
Like we're really kind of down. What do you say? You cut it early, we'll knock up a few bucks and stuff like that. Now, if you got 150 people, you're doing great.
Yeah, it's like,
It's
hey,
like-
we got the place.
Yeah, but
you
you're,
guys did?
you're their highest paid band making $600. So,
Yeah.
Yeah,
That's for the whole band.
And that would be the thing. And then the guy would want to sit there and
It's a
talk. to you about,
$5,000
Hey, what do you
guitar.
think
I
about
play it
this
for
band? Or
$500.
you think we should have wing night on Tuesday? And and then you want to have a couple of drinks with you. So next thing you know, it's like about 3. Now you're going out to Perkins or any of these places, and there's a line to get in.
Yeah,
You
there's
know,
a
at
line.
3 o'clock in the morning,
always
there's a
a
line
line.
to get
Yeah,
in. By the
always a
time
line.
Closest
you
I
eat
came to
everything-
food the other day was I almost hit a squirrel. And there's nothing's open now.
You're like
I was
6
starving.
o'clock in the morning, 5:30. The sun's coming up, like you say.
Yeah.
You got your suit on.
Yeah.
You got a ruffled tuxedo
I'd come
top
home,
on, and you're
I'd
getting
come
to
home,
go
my
work in the
old
mill.
man would say, don't lay down. Do not lay down. So he'd leave the room. I'd give my mom's purse looking for Desoxins or Black Beauties because the doctors they were good back then. If you were fat, they gave you fucking pills. Now, they act like it's speed or something.
I remember one time we were doing some night out or something someplace, and like I was doing the morning show, and it was just pretty much we started at the bar and just went right on
Tell
the
me
air,
about it.
and it was like a Saturday morning, and I can still remember this. So
man.
I'm sitting there and I'm thinking, okay, what could I do?
You heard
And
me.
I put on the Beatles' Abbey Road, the big long medley, because I just wanted to sit there
Chill.
for a minute. Next thing you know, man, as Golden Slumbers came in and just lulled me to sleep, and I mean I was out cold with my head on, and somebody come walking in. Dude, here you haven't played any music. And I'm like, I get up, first of all, I'm looking around like, where the hell am I to begin with, But Golden Slumbers just lulled me right into that. And I thought, I'll just play this nice
How
long
did we
thing
do
here,
it?
and I'll just take a rest here,
I don't know how we did that.
But I ran a crane. It went from here to there. There was no other cranes in my bay.
Yeah.
And there was a bumper on this end, a bumper. There was a bumper on this end. And I would fall asleep halfway down the bay. And the way I would wake up, kind of boom, and the whole mill would turn black. You know the dust that's down there?
Yeah,
Now, you wake up with shit on your car 5 miles away.
Right.
Centifanti fellas, they used to have to shut the power off and walk the rails to wake me up. But I was a good craneman, and we had a union. That's why we're not there anymore.
Really?
Yeah.
Ditzler would have me carry him on my hooks over down the mill. I wish he was here to talk about it.
Oh, man. Yeah, hopefully he'll make it here.
I'm not going to talk about the good stuff when he's not here.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, you got to save those good stories. How about you, Tommy? Were you just a musician? You have a job, or
Oh,
He's our savior.
Yeah, I've always worked.
Tell him what you do.
But now I do electronics. I've been doing electronics since like 1982, fixing basically these things and amplifiers,
Very talented
and mixing
at it.
boards and all that stuff.
He's
I
the
work for
best.
a company called Woodsy's Music up in Kent.
Uh-huh.
I've been working there since '94.
Who'd you work for before that? Sebastian or something?
When I first got out of electronics school, I worked for Electronics Limited
Niles. Huh?
in Niles,
Yeah.
and working on home stereos and cassette decks and turntables and stuff like VCRs and that stuff.
We had stuff fixed.
Then I got a
Yeah,
job.
now that you throw them away.
I got
Okay,
a
that
job
broke.
working for Ducey Music on Market Street.
Oh, okay, right.
Yeah, so I worked for them for a while, and I kind of went out on my own and did electronic stuff too. But before that, I had a painting company, so I did painting and stuff. And then there were some times when all I did was work with the band. I was on the road crew, me, Ray Timlin. We'd go down the road with just packed truck, with
Yeah.
the sound treatments, equipment in there half the time and stuff.
I used to roadie all the time for my bands that I played with.
So
I
we
always
go-
made the extra $60.
Set all the stuff. Yeah, you make the extra money. You get
Right.
paid as a roadie, and
Yeah.
then you cleaned up, and then you go play the job, and then
Tear it down.
load the truck, and drive back home.
Hey, why not? Why
Yeah.
not? Yeah, we were talking about that not too long ago on the show about how sound used to be a big thing, home sound systems.
Oh,
and,
yeah,
and
everybody had
all
one.
these stores like that, and you would have these turntables where everybody rumble and make sure that
Audio
the right
warehouse.
grams and just every
Oh, yeah,
little
everything.
thing and the
Yeah.
and the
Bangs and Olufsen.
what kind of
Cartridge and
cartridge you
stylus
have and
and-
stylus and that tone arm, is it on there right?
Yeah.
I used to
the
go into-
skid?
Then you had the cleaner for cleaning your albums.
Oh,
You guys
yeah.
ever go
Little
into
felt thing or something.
You guys ever go into Audio Arts on Market Street?
Oh yeah.
Mates didn't. No.
No, he had Audio Warehouse.
Audio Warehouse.
He ran that.
Yeah.
Audio Arts had
Yeah.
like the Macintosh,
Yeah.
Bangs and Olufsen.
Yeah. All.
You know,
They put you in that
tube
little room
amplifiers.
in there for premier
Like
listening.
Yeah.
And now people, they put in a pair of earbuds or something. They don't even care. They listen to an MP3 that's so tinny
Yeah, but
and has nothing.
we don't have to
it.
go to Record Rendezvous and buy the 45.
We were talking about
And
that
so
on the way down.
I got it right on my phone, whatever I want.
Yeah.
It's a little tinny.
We drove by. I said,
Oh, well.
What was it called? The record store down here.
Record Rendezvous?
Record
The
Rendezvous.
Plaza Records? remember
We
that?
go in there, and you could like buy a 40. Oh, before you buy it, you could listen to it.
Yeah.
I had these bullshit stuff, turntables, and you'd have the headphones. The wires were hanging out.
You're not sure you want
Yeah,
the fucking
but
song.
you could hear it and say, yeah, I want this. So you go
And for like 60 cents
yeah,
or
buy
whatever.
your
it's called.
45, and you walk out.
You're not allowed to taste your food before you buy it.
Yeah. Yeah, those were the days. That's one of the first
Good
times
old
I saw
days.
Boots Bell. I was I can remember I was real young, and they must have had somebody down there doing an autograph signing or whatever. And all the guys from WHOT at that time, they had a fire truck. And they all come down, and they're all hanging on the
They were
fire
big.
truck.
They were the
and there's
shit.
boots and
The good
everything.
guys.
And you couldn't get through because the street was actually packed. You know, the whole street was packed with people, and they come down there and they're throwing records around and
Yeah.
everything, and it was like.
Remember
it was
when
a
we could
big
get on
deal.
a bus and go downtown?
Oh yeah,
I mean, I lived in Bradley Woods. I lived on the corner of Wakefield and Youngstown Poland Road.
yeah,
Wakefield runs into Elm Street. If you cross over,
Yeah.
you strut.
right.
The bus would stop right there.
Yep. So
They
did you
slow
take
step,
the
I'd
16
get right-
Buckeye or the Struthers or the Poland?
Huh?
All three of them
Yeah.
used to go down now.
Yes.
Yeah.
We go downtown and just. I remember seeing Candy down there. Telling my mom I was going to see like Chipmunks movie or something.
Yeah.
Go and watch it.
Well, it's like I say, my big thing was the YMCA, and then we'd just go
Yep.
run around downtown. And
You graduated a couple years after me. 75. You graduated
75. Yeah.
with Frankie Pelly.
Yeah, oh yeah.
That's right. That's
Oh,
our
yeah, I
number
know
one
Frank
fan.
real well, yeah.
Wonderful guy.
Yeah, I see.
Hi, Frankie.
Whenever you post something on there, he always.
He's
Yeah.
great kid.
Oh yeah.
He lived at 2045 Medford. I lived at 2045 Wakefield. Our
your
house,
backyards.
One across. Michael DeLucia lived in between us.
Oh, I remember Michael too, man. Boy, all them
That was
characters.
a crazy neighborhood.
Yeah, yeah. That,
We
that
had
really
two
was.
perverts that lived up the street. They used to give me the willies.
Hey, why don't you play a song? Throw a little left end on there, man. You
What's a nice one?
you guys are killing
one
me.
we can do as
Sitting
an
there, guitar in
instrumental?
hand.
My dog has fleas. We played it with
Way too
Me
easy.
and Tom, we played in a pretty decent band together for a few years. Called
Tongue and Groove,
Tongue
man.
and Groove.
Yeah,
Kicked
you
ass.
guys really had a good selection of music. You do them Deep Purple songs.
We like
and
to
stuff.
play together. I mean, we had fun. It wasn't just about
Yeah.
We didn't make no fucking money with that band. Nobody
Yeah.
wanted to pay us.
Yeah, of course. Ain't that a shame, though, man? Boy, you got guys like this with this kind of talent, and it's like, okay.
But we didn't do it for the money. We had fun doing that.
Here's what's interesting about him and I. He lived, a mile from me.
Yeah, we grew up in the same neighborhood.
Oh, where'd you? Now you
I
went
live
to
on Sheridan Road.
Okay. Oh, okay. You live right on Sheridan.
Yeah, on
I lived right off Sheridan.
the other side of Sheridan Road.
Yeah, the other side.
So
Jimmy Silver's side.
I knew
The
'cause
Jackson School side. You were in a Palsy Bunner. Yeah,
I
you
heard his
Palsy
name.
Bun
Yeah,
by
the
the
I
way.
heard he
rich
played
kids.
guitar. I was familiar with Next to Kin.
Yeah.
I don't know if I ever heard of the band. Then,
Well, we played a gig with you one time
Did we?
at it was the Jamie Fund. It was this little girl named Jamie needed a puppy or I don't know. They somewhere with it. It's
Yeah.
100 years ago.
But
And that's when he had the cherry pop.
and we had Cherry Pop and Unrolled or whatever.
But that's one gig. And then we ran into him with the McKelvey's Loft used to have bands. Cherry Pop was playing. Tommy was doing burnouts in the parking deck with his Chevelle. With a 68. He was a race car. He's a motorhead still.
Oh yeah.
But go ahead.
So, but we never really knew each other. So, fast forward, I had my shop. I was doing electronics and stuff in a place called the Music Place in the Pelican Park Plaza in Boardman. We sold amps and stuff. He comes walking in. I know who he is,
Yeah.
but I don't really know him and stuff.
I was teaching guitar at New York Music.
Yeah.
But I was going to check out an amp.
He wanted to check out a Pierce amplifier because we sold those.
I had to buy it.
He'd come in, and so I said,
In New York.
I know you. And we introduced ourselves and stuff like that, and that's when we kind of start talking and everything. And he starts playing all the left end stuff, like all my solos, better than I play.
I listened to them. That's a compliment, I think, to him.
But and then so many years after that, and then on Facebook, he texted me because you had Tongue and Groove, the jam band.
Oh yeah, I did it on Youngstown Rock and Roll History before we even were on Facebook.
Come
I
on,
was
come on, play.
trying to coax him out, get him out.
Yeah, he says, "Come on, play." I said, "No, I don't do that. I'm not a jammer guy, you know."
Yeah.
So he said, "No, come on. No. So finally he says, "Look," he says, "Why don't you stop over to the house? We'll have some coffee and we'll just play some guitars." I said, "All right, we'll do that." And that's how that all started. From then on.
Yeah, more fun to have a coffee.
Yeah, we drink coffee, get all buzzed up from the coffee. and
We
stuff.
play though. I mean, we work shit out.
Yeah.
We work through dual harmony parts, guitars out. We'd have a keyboard player in Tongue and Groove, so we just he played the keyboard parts like the Highway Star. You swear John Ward's playing them. Tommy nails them all.
Oh, I know that was one of my favorite songs that you guys.
But Tommy's, he's not very self-promoting.
Yeah, he is laid back.
You know what I mean? I want to just sometimes, because he's like one of the, well, he made Tongue and Groove sound good. We were good before he come around,
Yeah.
But that extra, he was the missing link. All when I play All Along the Watchtower, I play it just like Hendrix, but he plays the rhythm just like Dave Mason. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
I mean, it's there.
Yeah.
All those little harmonic overtones you don't even realize that are in there.
So what about you? What was the first album you remember buying?
Oh my!
Or stealing.
It would have had to have been a Beatles album.
Uh-huh.
Probably whatever the first, Meet the Beatles.
Right,
That's
whatever
probably
was out at that-
probably
at
the
I
first
got
one.
beat the Beatles.
How about concert? What was the first concert you went to?
You don't see many concerts.
Well, you were probably out working all the time.
Yeah, I was working a lot and stuff, and didn't see many concerts. I saw Billy Joel, and I was a big fan of Grand Funk Railroad. I saw them at the thing in Cleveland. It's not there anymore.
Oh, Richfield.
Richfield, I Coliseum.
Yeah.
I saw them there, and I saw Jethro Tull there and stuff. Yeah, but,
He saw some big guys.
Kansas, I saw Kansas and Pittsburgh.
Yeah, that actually Kansas. Pittsburgh was the first city that they outside of Kansas that they were big at. That's why they did their 40th reunion. They did it in Pittsburgh because that was the first city they hit it big.
Uh-huh.
Now, Grand Funk, I know you're both Grand Funk fans. I know
Yes.
Jerry's a big Grand Funk fan.
Love Grand Funk.
Oh, what a great band.
Yeah.
You know, it's a shame that those guys aren't in the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame. How is Grand
How
Funk
are they
Railroad
not?
not even mentioned? That's what gets me, not even mentioned.
Because it's all bullshit.
You know?
It's just like everything else,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah, oh yeah,
Okay, so
no,
you know.
definitely. I mean, how can a band that sold out Shea Stadium faster than the Beatles? How do they not even?
How
get
could the
into
Hollies
mix?
not be in the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame, but Crosby, Stills, and Nash, those are. Hollies had a
No,
million.
how is like Run DMC in the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame?
And
How is
Hollies.
Janet Jackson in the
I can sit
Rock
here
and Roll Hall of
and
Fame?
rattle off 10 Hollies hits.
Yeah,
This is before Graham Nash even met David Crosby. Yeah,
yeah,
I don't believe it.
Yeah.
The Kinks, are they in the Hall of Fame?
yeah. The Kinks
Okay,
are in.
thanks.
Kinks are in.
Ellie was there once or
Yeah.
twice.
No, you know, I love the museum. I think the museum's really cool. I think they got so much cool stuff in there. But for like the people the politics that goes along with it, it's like, come on, man.
You're right. I mean, there's how many? Who else is in it? Should be?
Warren Zevon, I would say.
Oh, yeah.
Probably Jethro Tull. I don't think Jethro
Sure.
Tull's in there.
Come on.
Judas Priest. How's Judas Priest not in there?
I don't know. No metal. They just. It seems like there's more pop and
Yeah.
soul acts in there. Than, you
Yeah.
know, nothing against soul acts. 'Cause I'm a
No.
soul man, brother. You know what I mean? I can
No.
funk out with the best of them.
Yeah.
I love funk music. I mean, I
I
do.
think everybody does.
They did at the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame. They did a hometown grown thing or something like
But
that. Left End was in there for a while.
Uh-huh.
Yeah,
That'd be
I
fun.
remember
I don't
seeing
think it's
the
still
album
there.
in there.
Oh, yeah. They did have like that
Yeah, they had
whole
a little
Northeast
left
Ohio.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Michael Stanley was
I don't
in
think
there,
that's there
and
anymore.
we mentioned him. So
Yeah, Michael Stanley, boy,
Yeah.
rest in peace, boy. That guy,
Oh, fuck.
man,
That-
he,
what a hit, huh?
yeah, he really had. You know, when
72.
he's like one of those guys that to me, like when Tom Petty passed away,
Oh, I was
you
like a
knew,
kick in
you
the
knew
ball,
how
wasn't it?
big he was, but you really didn't know how many people he touched. I even think it's the same with Dennis. You know, he's
Yeah.
like one of them guys that, you know, when you pass away, and then, you know, when you just start seeing the outpouring of people that are sincerely, you know, feeling the loss, and it's like, wow, man.
Guys,
you know,
you're never going to hear again.
you know.
Gary Moore, when he died.
Yeah.
Too soon. 60
Yeah,
something.
that was another one. Greg Allman, I thought,
Yeah.
you know, I took that one kind of bad.
Yeah.
Yeah, you know that.
All
was,
our heroes are going, though, you know?
I know we're just
they-
getting older. You know, you can't stop it.
And I feel bad because
Yep.
I'm next.
You know, yeah, hey, I mean, we're in the line, man. I
Yeah,
mean,
we're
you know,
in the line.
you got to.
I don't worry about that. I don't even think about
Oh,
it.
Jay Giles band, yeah. How come the Jay Giles band isn't in the Rock and Roll Hall of
They
Fame?
were awesome, man.
That's one.
We played with Jay Giles.
Oh,
I mean,
where'd you
even
play with Jay
before-
Giles?
Champaign, Illinois.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Even
we
before
opened
all
for
that
them.
other, look centerfold, Jay Giles was the shit.
Oh, Southside
Yeah.
Shuffle right off the bat, man.
Yeah.
Whammer Jammer, you know, Must Have Got Lost, all that
Yeah.
stuff.
That's all we listened to.
Yeah. And they
Are
they
the
used to
Doobie
play.
Brothers in the Hall of Fame?
No, they used to play Youngstown a lot
I
in the
know.
Youngstown area.
I heard them with Law, Ambrosia, Peter Frampton. Jack Gerchak brought him into the Ohio River Jam, 1975.
Oh yeah, down by
Down-
Mountaineer,
yeah.
wasn't it on the side of the hill down
Yes.
there? I think Ozark, Jim Dandy,
Yeah, Jim
Black
Dandy,
Oak,
Black Oak,
Arkansas.
yeah.
Yeah, yeah, that was big.
There
So-
was Black Oak but the best band there that day, besides Frampton, Jay Giles tore it up,
Oh.
and Law tore it up.
Oh, yeah.
They're all great. I mean, Law, for a local band, B.E. Taylor was singing with them there, because Ronnie Lee had some.
Uh-huh.
I can honestly say, I was there. They opened up, did no lights or nothing. They rocked, I'm telling you what, as good as any of those star bands.
Yeah, now you guys did a big show in Detroit. Now, who did you play with that one? I think I remember you guys played with like Cobo Arena and in Detroit.
Parliament Funkadelics.
I just read that book.
George
Good
Clinton.
book.
That
Yeah,
was-
did you like Patsy's book?
Yeah,
I loved Patsy's book,
Okay.
I'm glad he did it.
which is something for me because I'm not much of a reader, you know.
Uh-huh.
But I couldn't put it down.
Oh, good,
You
good.
know, of course, I'm reading about my life basically.
Yeah, yeah.
Kind of thing, you know. But yeah, I thought it was good.
He had Tom to a T.
Yeah.
He got an Tom.
It almost makes you a little scary, like, whoa, man, boy, this guy really got me down.
Yeah.
Don't I have a little mystique about me
Yeah,
or
yeah.
whatever, you know?
But I thought it was great that he did that. I know he had told me through the years that But Pat gets out a lot. He's like a social butterfly kind of guy. He's always out and about and stuff.
Right.
And people always approach him.
He's a good promoter, man. Pat.
Yeah.
So what do you what's going on? You should do this. You should do that. And so finally, and the one common thing was you should write a book with all your stories and stuff. Well, finally decided to do it.
Yeah.
And amazing memory he has.
He's like this guy. You want to talk about, for somebody that's like been around rock and roll for so long, you figure maybe it'd be a little brain dead.
I don't know where my glasses are right now.
Yeah,
I've been worried about that.
He don't know where the car's parked. He's looking for his keys over here, and he's like, I remember in '72, and Figinsky walks in, and you know what story I liked about that? Oh, so you guys played with Parliament Funkadelic. That had to be pretty cool. Were the guys cool with
They were cool, but it was kind of scary. They're a little intimidating. For one thing, they had already made it big. So here we are. We're in the dressing room with them, and they had all the garb on and stuff. So they were intimidating as it was.
Right.
And what was really weird, we actually headlined the show, and it was their hometown. And I'd say it was probably largely 90% black audience. And it was outside. It's just packed, and I thought, where are we at? What are we going to do here? How's this going to go? We're basically,
what's Dennis going to say?
A white rock band, and these guys, they're going to come out and just funkify it, But Dennis was cool. He basically had him in the palm of his hand, and we did great. The band was cooking, and
music's music. It don't matter color. That's what
yeah.
bonds us all.
And
really.
they really enjoyed Dennis. I mean, you just watching Dennis, you kind of have to admire how good he was and stuff. He really would command the stage. So
yeah, I think Patsy said one of the craziest shows though that you opened, that you had a hard time with the audience was Captain Beefheart. Do you remember Captain Beefheart?
I think we played with him in Akron.
I think he said Kent or somewhere
the Flying Machine.
Yeah.
And
I remember that club. I never been there.
We used to drive up there.
I don't remember the job too. Pat was great. He remembers everything. But I don't remember very much about it. I remember one time there was a band called the Atlantics, and I'd never heard of them before. And what I liked about them is, first of all, they were a good band, but everything was white. The backdrop was white. The amps were white. Every light on the stage was white. Everything was white.
How cool.
Typically, you don't see that.
Yeah.
Black backdrop and stuff. All the amps are black. So everything was white. But it was really, really cool, and they were good. So I remember that. That was a good show.
I remember painting all the Poltergeist stuff white.
I don't think we did too good with the Captain Beefheart thing. I think they just wanted to hear Captain Beefheart. And,
when you listen to Captain Beefheart's music too, it's just like, okay, how did Left End even get tied up with Captain Beefheart?
You got to ask the promoter that, and you got to ask the record label that.
That's a good one.
Yeah,
but for the most part, like either shows that you headlined or open, were you guys pretty much like, was it a good match on most of the shows that you opened? Made sense,
I think so. They were good. Most of the bands at that time, they were a rock band of some kind and stuff. Maybe some a little funkier than others. Not too many bands were very light.
Yeah.
So I thought the matchups were good.
Opened it up would be a drag, I would think, though, because you don't get any sound, you don't get no lights.
Yeah.
You have to throw your shit in front of the band's equipment. It's
Yeah.
like, and nobody pays attention to you.
You're kind of like a peon.
You got to pay your dues, though.
The main act sets all their stuff up, and you don't touch it.
Well, that's why Van Halen, Alice in Chains opened for him. I listened to him because I liked them.
Yeah.
But nobody was. I mean, it was almost upsetting.
Oh yeah. Well, I've seen. You get tons of stories like that. Like Stevie Ray Vaughan was opening for Huey Lewis in the News at one point, and he was getting booed off the stage. Who boos Stevie Ray Vaughan off the stage? Because you want to hear the heart of rock and roll instead of beating, get off the stage.
Sometimes you're better off not having an opening band. Just get to the Huey and let's get it over.
Yeah. Or unless it's like a buddy of yours and somebody that's like, really kind of close or musically, but it's got. Well, I think in Patsy's book he was talking about, I think, Trapeze at.
I was there
at
for that one.
Music Hall. I think he said they were kind of dicks and made you guys set up in a little area.
So they opened up with their hit song. The band opened up with Trapeze. I don't know if they opened up with it, but
we did it.
They did it. You ever hear that? Remember that one, Medusa by Trapeze?
Oh yeah.
Medusa.
Well, I'm sitting there, at Packard, watching Left Hand, and I'm waiting to hear Trapeze. Then you could go into Medusa. Dennis had American flag suit on that night. And they fucking nailed it, you know. I mean, I heard him do it before. I knew Left Hand played Medusa.
Yeah.
But they did it. I mean, you guys killed it.
I remember that Dennis's, when he first got in the band, he had all these albums I'd never heard of, you know, and he had Trapeze, and I'd never heard Trapeze. And he put Medusa on. He says, we have to learn this song right here.
Well, who can sing Glenn Hughes but Dennis?
Yeah. Oh, I know.
Glenn Hughes has a subhuman voice.
And actually, it sounded, the way you guys did it, sounded like an original.
Right.
If you didn't know Trapeze, you would think that was a Left End original.
Well, there's a...
and Pulled the Plug, that was another one, man. Hey, here he is.
What a lovely looking group.
Yeah.
Oh, man.
Nice suit, Dave.
You want to see?
Oh, I didn't know we had a dress code here today, man.
Commish.
Boy, I tell you.
Yeah, there.
we left our suits in the car.
Hi, my
Hey,
friend.
how you doing, buddy?
Hey.
Haven't seen you in a long time.
Dave, how you been, man?
Thanks for-
Have a seat.
Thanks for making it, Dave.
All right.
All day long with traffic candy. Come on.
Oh, you're in
Since
heaven.
9 this morning.
You had to love it.
Well, I can put up with him. Carol's the one that beats me up all the
That
time.
was a
So
good girl. Be nice to her.
it's hard.
So we're going to
We
play
need-
Stump the Band. You guys are going to try to stump them with a
we
Left
can
End song, huh?
stump
Oh, geez, you guys have stumped me already.
What's your favorite Left Hand song?
Bad talking lady.
We didn't do that one. Did we?
No, huh? You have to do it, man.
That's really not much to it, but Dennis.
I asked him, I said, what are we going to do? He says, I have no idea. I said, look, I need to, like, kind of prepare for this.
No, you don't.
He said, no, you don't.
Okay, bad talking
So
lady.
therefore, I did not.
Go ahead.
How about a little love shooter?
How about
Oh, my.
Love
about,
Shooter.
How about a little
I
how about
forgot all this.
sunshine girl?
Oh, we did that before you did that.
that sounds like yours. I used to like by the Left Hand Boys.
Oh, geez, there's no way.
Riding in the, you do that one? Yep.
Something
When
like
the
that.
guy writes the song, you know,
I don't know.
he knows the chords.
Yeah.
Those are tricky chords he slipped in there.
Yeah, there we go.
How about
Hey,
Cyclone Rider?
Yeah, I saw a Cyclone
Oh,
Rider.
jeez.
Because he's young and he's wild.
You just sing
He
it.
carries on like a little child.
Right.
The number one motorcyclist
Starts off
in the
with-
land. Number one motorcyclist in the world.
Let the bow ride.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, that's not it.
Oh, man.
Anyway,
Dave walks.
this
Dave
monkey had the
walks-
best rock club in the town.
He walks into the building and we take the party to the next level. How about that? Hey, Dave, welcome to the show, man.
Dave.
Good to see you. How you doing,
Sorry I'm
man?
late. Sorry
You
I'm
think Freddie
late.
would offer us
Hey.
a shot of Crown Royal or something?
That's
Oh,
all right.
man.
That's all right.
Definitely need some Crown Royal.
Yeah.
Although I had a few last night for St.
Yeah,
Patrick's
St.
Day.
Patty's
so,
Day, man.
You know, all good. All
I got
good.
pulled over last night. Cop told me to get out of the car. I said, I'm too drunk, you get in. I'm lucky I'm here today.
So, Dave, good to see you, man. We
Yeah,
want to talk a
you
little
too.
bit about the arcade.
I
Now,
know
of
you're a
course,
busy man, but thanks for making it.
Left End was a fixture at the arcade
Oh
for a
God,
lot
I'll
of
tell you,
times.
we would. Let me say, we would sell between 8 and 10 kegs of beer on Sunday night, and it was $2 for a draft and a quarter for a glass. $2 for a pitcher and a quarter for a glass.
25 cents.
And I'm telling you, it was. And Sunday night, we'd have 600 to 800 people in there for Left End.
Packed.
Sunday
So,
night,
That's a big
almost-
joint.
It was a big place.
Yeah,
Nice stage.
yeah.
Wow.
You know how many times I've painted that with black paint I'm telling you, I
Guys
rolled
mess it
that
up,
thing.
didn't they?
I rolled that thing so many times, you know. And
What else do you have to
get
do?
we used to take and ceiling
were-
tiles down.
You
paint
worked
them.
in the steel industry too. I forgot.
Oh yeah, Jerry.
I thought
Jerry
everybody
had some
quit-
steel mill stories.
I
he
thought
wanted to
everybody
share.
quit working after sheet 2 closed.
Yeah.
What happened?
That's
You
it.
guys a bunch-
I hear you. I went to work at Thomas Steel then. You know, at 83
You
when
did.
they shut down, and I had the bar, and I worked at Thomas.
You were-
Well, when I left Sheet and Tube, that's when I bought the bar with my uncle.
I remember
Two
that.
of us went.
And I was
Yeah.
going to quit and play music.
Hey, you've
So
done
give us
great
a little
job.
bit of history of the arcade. When did it open? How'd you come up with the idea? Give us a little history of that, the whole place.
Well, actually, it was open when I
Heaven.
bought it. It was heaven.
Yeah.
You know, before it was the arcade, and it
But
was
it wasn't
like
a rock club, though.
No, it was like,
Like
a
a Guido
restaurant.
joint. Yeah.
And they had angel hair all over the walls.
I remember,
you know,
yeah,
and,
'cause it was heaven.
waitresses, and actually the building was an old Century Foods building.
Yes,
it was a grocery store at one
You should have
time.
left the automatic door in.
Yeah, it was a grocery store at one time. And then when we had, you know, we covered the outsides of it and stuff, and you know the glass walls and windows and doors were still there behind it, which ended up being a good thing because when in '83 when we had Huey Lewis and the News there, they mandated that we had an outside entrance that you were able to come in from the street
Right.
into the backstage. And normally there wasn't. You know, you came
None of
into
this
the
coming
bar
through the door
and
where
just
Ju-
come
where
back and
Julie
went
stood.
through. Yeah,
Joey
yeah.
and Chuck,
Yeah, yeah, Julie.
your daddy. I
My
love your
dad,
dad.
and Julie, yeah, and Julie and her sister Lena, you know. So
Yeah, I still
yeah,
see the guy once in a while.
yeah,
And Eugene.
but Eugene, yeah.
Now,
he was in a band too.
Huey Lewis and the News, that was a big show for you. Everybody in Youngstown
there.
still remembers that show and talks
Boom.
about that.
Remember
What was
that
that?
day?
How did that come about, and what was that whole
You know
whole
what?
night like?
That was probably the coolest thing because it was such by accident.
How did you do something cool?
Yeah,
That's what I wanna know.
I'm telling you,
Yeah.
but it was truly by accident. Truly by accident.
I don't think so.
Because I was sitting there and I had a bunch of albums. I still have albums. I still got the 10-inch. Right.
But you were a fan.
I got all. I was always a Left Hand fan.
I
Left
told
Hand
him
fan
that.
from the Orange Room. You know,
talked to
I
me at
lived
work.
in the Orange Room
Yeah, I remember
when
you-
Pat Bylon was checking
Yeah.
IDs
Yeah,
at the
right.
door.
You telling me
You know?
The midget
Orange Room
and
and
the
Left End, bro.
PT.
Yeah.
I met him when he was right out of high school in the
Yeah,
mill.
18
Yeah,
and
we had
Sheet
good
and Tube.
times.
Yeah.
But he loved Left End always.
But I had a bunch of albums, and I had the Huey Lewis and the News Working for a Living album. And the funny thing was, is
Great
that,
album.
Yeah, it was a great album. I loved it, and you hadn't heard anything from him for a couple of years.
Yeah.
And I'm just looking at albums, trying to get ideas on bands and
You said
stuff.
I can get these guys
And,
cheap. You haven't heard from them for a
No,
while.
I flipped it over, and on the back it said Monterey Peninsula Artists, Monterey, California. And I thought, I called information.
Right.
You know, got a phone number from Monterey Peninsula Artists. I called and I said, you know, I was wondering if Huey Lewis and the News is doing any tours or anything. And they said, let me connect you with Fred Bolander. He said, Fred Bolander is their booking agent. So the guy gets on the phone. He says, where are you located at? And I said, Youngstown, Ohio. And he says, let me look at something. He comes back. He goes, we're getting ready to put on a tour to advertise our new album. And he said, we're going from New York to Chicago. And we've got a Saturday night open between New York and Chicago. You know, so they had nowhere in Cleveland, Pittsburgh, nowhere. And I said, you know, what would it cost to book them for the night? $10,000. And this was 83,
That was a
November of
tiny sum
83.
back then, yeah.
So they said, we need you to wire us $5,000 in advance and pay us $5,000 cash the night of the show. So,
You just
so we
went
did.
in your drawer and got it.
So we did. We wired him $5,000 and got the book, got the date committed, and then they come in and, you know, jam, sound, special light, everybody set everything up, and you know they always had great equipment. The speakers, everything
Sure.
was amazing. And I'll never forget when they got there. They came in a tour bus, and when they got there, they came in and listened. One of the speakers was blown,
That's Marcus.
and
Yeah, I say I'm one below.
yeah, one of the speakers, and they picked up on it right away, you know, and they ended up making them change one out and stuff after everything was said.
Only
you know,
right,
but-
right?
Yeah, and so
Yeah, one
and
blown tire, you can't drive the car, right?
why wouldn't it stand on three? You know,
I've done it.
should be
It's
able
only
to
flat
stand
on the
three.
bottom too, man. You know.
So, but yeah, that's how it ended up happening. And then and the funny thing is Fred Bolander ended up
It sounded good though.
buying Monterey Peninsula Artists, the booking company, and probably in the late 80s when he started playing Blossom a lot, Huey Lewis.
Yes.
Or not a lot, but he was playing Blossom. And I remember calling up the Monterey, long after the arcade closed and stuff. And he was still there, he owned a company.
Uh-huh.
And I said, I used to own a bar in Youngstown. I told him the spiel, and the secretary says, I'll let him know and see, and leave me your number. And I thought, that's the last time you'll hear of that,
Yeah.
And it couldn't have been 2 hours later he calls me.
Wow.
And I said,
With the
well,
Bolander guy.
Yeah, Fred Bolander. And he owned the company now,
Yes.
the booking agency. And I said, well, that's pretty nice you calling me. He says, I want to tell you, I remember your club like it was yesterday. And I said,
was
I
fun.
said, why? And I said, it had to be a reason.
Yeah.
He
Here it comes.
said, it was my 30th birthday, and we were on the tour bus, and we stayed the whole night, and we went to the pit and ate
I used to eat there after
barbecue.
setting up at your
Went and ate barbecue at the pit after the show, and he says, I'll never forget because, my dad at the time was an old man. He was
Yeah.
50.
Yeah, right.
No.
Yeah,
And-
them old guys.
I was
50 years old,
26
man.
or something, 27.
I mean, how about that? And
I was once.
So my dad, when he knew he was coming, my dad was always at the door working and stuff.
Yeah.
And when he came and he said, I want to go down and meet Huey. He says, I'm going to bring my harps. And I said, what? And here my dad had all these Harman Kardon harmonicas.
Oh.
And he says, I've seen him on TV playing harmonica. And I
He
said,
saw
and
Huey Lewis.
Huey Lewis. And I
He
said,
was
and
it.
I said, Dad, don't embarrass me, please. And you know how you get when you're 25 and he's 55,
You
right?
wish he was here to embarrass you now, don't you?
Yeah.
He do.
Well, let me tell you, Huey threw me out and brought my dad in,
Yes.
and
Wise
so
move.
at the end of the show, Huey Lewis is sitting back there, and all the people that worked the night and stuff after the crowd left all wanted to get his autograph, get a picture with him, everything, and they're all coming back and forth. My dad comes in and he opens his bag up and he's got these harmonicas, and he takes them out, and Huey goes, "Hey, wow!" He says, "That's a hell of a harp," and he reaches over and he takes one, and right to his mouth starts playing it. And my dad takes another one out, starts playing it,
See?
right? And the two of them were sitting there playing
Jamming
harmonica
together like we were just jamming the guitar.
If we had a cell phone with a camera on it today,
See?
or back then, like
I'm
today,
glad we didn't have one when I was in high school.
Yeah, you're right
I
about
got
that.
in jail.
That's a double-edged sword right
Yeah,
there. There's
yeah,
some
there-
things in there. Boy, I wish
Yeah.
I had a phone, and
Yeah,
there's
there's
other
some
things.
things
I wish we had none of
Good
that.
thing we didn't have one then.
but the
We'd
nice
have
thing
got
was,
trouble.
I mean,
You wouldn't be the commissioner.
he sent my dad a
We'd all
note
be in jail.
because
Huey
my
Lewis
dad
did?
my dad gave him the harmonicas.
Oh, wow.
And he sent my dad a note and said, "It was nice playing with you. Thanks for the harp." And he wrote on the things he signed.
Those are probably
He
good
said,
words, too. They collect those items.
he said, "Thanks again,
Oh, cool.
Huey Lewis and how did he word that?
He's pretty cool.
And you've just heard the news."
There you go.
Uh-huh.
He would always say, "Huey Lewis, and you just heard the news." And but what a nice guy. I mean, it was always cool. Everybody that came and played were always all good people. We're all great
Everybody there
musicians.
was all good guys.
That month, I was trying to find it on the Facebook page, the
Yeah.
calendar that was on that
Yeah,
month.
I wrote some of the notes down.
I'll
read-
find it. I'll copy it and give it to you.
I'll read some of these bands.
I
and
just wanted to say
I think
that
Donnie
single
Santarelli
month
had that.
to be the best month we'd ever had from a band standpoint.
Yeah, from all the variety. You had
Every night.
Prisoner, Sojourn, Left End,
Link,
Link.
Daniel Pecchio Band.
Right.
Left End, we had Billy Taylor, B.E. Taylor,
Right.
U.S. Kids.
On that one fly.
On that one
Yeah,
month.
Hearn Brothers, Huey
Hearn
Lewis and the
Brothers,
News.
yeah. Huey Lewis and the News, Sojourn, U.S. Kids, The Fabulous Flashbacks,
Yeah.
2 Saturdays.
I mean, that is like
Yeah,
a
I mean-
lineup. And you were doing music almost every night of the
Oh,
week.
yeah.
Yeah,
I mean,
I think
do
we
you
were
miss
closed
those days
Monday and
when there
Tuesday,
used
huh?
to be music out, every night of the week that you could go see a band?
Well, you do. You do because you only remember the great exciting nights.
Right.
You don't remember the Tuesday or
There's nobody
Wednesday
there, yeah.
when Wicked Lester and Scotty Stingline was singing, and you know, and there was
Nobody's
like
there.
80 of us there,
Yeah.
you know, and
80
not
people
with
in the
Scotty,
arcade
not
would
with
be,
Scotty.
would be
Yeah.
like throwing a deck chair up.
And I don't mean to say that with Wicked Lester, because they did great for me on Thursday nights.
Sure.
Because that was heavy metal night, Thursday. And they always brought the biggest crowd.
People
But I'm just
wanted to
saying,
hear
like
the
on a
left end and the
Tuesday night,
Fabulous Flashback.
without a left end or a US or a flashbacks or somebody, when you got 100 people and you could roll a bowling ball through the place and not hit anybody.
Yeah.
Yeah,
You
so
know,
you took
pay
the
a
good
few
and
more
bad.
bucks
You
and-
remember the good times and focus on those, but then
Get a
there's
good
all those
band.
other ones.
The one but then after we had Huey Lewis there, we were able to get a lot of other bands that were more regional, Donnie Iris and stuff. He ended up playing twice there. The Producers, you know,
I
more
opened
bands
for
that
the
were-
Producers.
Did you?
Yeah, Studio West. Remember Studio?
Oh yeah. You guys wore ties, didn't you? Didn't you have black
Yeah.
shirts and pink ties or
Yeah.
something?
They were good. I like
Yeah,
Studio.
and
Yeah.
What's he
yeah, it
got
was always pretty cool.
that I like them. We went for the Gods. They wouldn't let us in the dressing room.
Oh,
You had the Gods at your
had the
place.
Gods.
I
We
peed
are a
on-
rock and roll machine.
I peed
Oh,
on
what a
their,
great song. That's like a
Oh, man.
Northeast Ohio classic to this
I
telling
day.
peed on their
I
door
had-
handles that night at your
I
arcade.
had Black Oak, Arkansas there too. Black
With
Oak,
Jim
Arkansas,
Dandy.
and
Go,
and
Jim.
yeah.
How was what's her
And-
name? Was she there? The broad?
I think
I
so.
mean,
Yeah, there was
the
one
lady,
of,
the young
one
lady?
of the young ladies was there.
Remember her with the red hair? She was hot.
Yeah. Go, Jim Dandy. Go,
Yeah.
Jim Dandy.
That's all she did.
Yeah, that's a shame.
That's all she
Oh,
did.
Ruby Star, right?
Ruby
Yeah,
Star.
you're
Star,
right.
yeah.
What a great memory.
You got the guy there right here.
Uh-huh.
He's an encyclopedia.
Every
What's
once
the
in a
other
while
one?
I get one. But I can't keep up with Jerry, though. You know, Jerry's hard to keep up with.
Yeah.
You know.
Let's go race. Want to race?
Yeah. That'd
Yeah.
probably be an even one there, too.
Yeah, a lot.
Yeah, we'd have to
it's
see who
just
fell over
good
first.
times. I remember.
I gotta get my walk.
I remember we did the Guess Who with no Burton Cummings, right? So
it was like doing-
what is that, right?
Peanut butter
I
and
mean,
jelly.
It's like going to see Foreigner with nobody in the band, you
Yeah.
know, and
Which nowadays
and
it's
they're-
almost like that.
Well, you
now,
know who's
too,
in
you know?
Right.
the Guess Who now? Swear to God, Rudy Sarzo. From
Yeah.
Quiet Riot, all of a sudden he's in the Guess Who.
Yeah, I follow
That's it.
Burton Cummings on Facebook. He's
Facebook.
really pissed about that because to him, it's him and Randy Bachman.
That's
It's,
stupid.
Oh,
you know,
exactly.
you know, without those two, is
Yeah.
it
Well,
really?
at least, I'll
Well,
tell you
but-
what, when Randy Bachman quit, he continued
Yeah.
with the majority of the band. It was still,
Right.
but without the drummer, without the bass player, without Burton Cummings, it's pretty much just
oh yeah.
fucked.
Well,
Yeah.
but
Okay,
you know
it's like
the
Left
funny
Hand without
thing was
Dennis.
the funny
Yep.
thing was though is when we did them, I got them for like dirt cheap, right?
Right. And people
they
came,
come
they didn't know the difference.
I mean, I had like 800 people there.
Yeah.
And they played, and they were good. I don't know who was singing for them. I don't remember
I'm sure they
now,
were
but
good, because they had all good guys in the
Yeah.
band.
And then, so I'm thinking, well, that era, one of my favorite bands was Rob Grill and the Grassroots, right?
Did you get them?
I loved them
Did
from
you
the
have them
60s. Yeah. So what I do, I book Rob Grill and the Grassroots, because at that time, my favorite song was Midnight Confession.
Right.
I listened to all them through the late 60s, early 70s, so now it's like, I'm going to book them, but I'm going to play it up. I think, I want to say that we had the Flashbacks open for them, thinking, this is going to be great.
They do
So
Midnight
you
Confessions
pay,
better than
I
the
paid a ton.
Grassroots.
No, Rob Grill was really good.
Yeah,
At
I
that,
bet.
I mean, in 1980, something, early 80s.
Uh-huh.
And so I book Rob Grill and the Grassroots, the Flashbacks opening, and it's, I think, $5 for the show. And our break-even number was like 500 people. And we thought, well, we do that on a normal night easy, right?
Yeah.
And so lo and behold, I'm thinking it's got to be the same crowd.
Because the
as Guess Who,
Flashbacks by
right?
themselves would have drawn.
Yeah.
Right.
I'm
Yeah.
thinking it's got to
Yeah,
be
the oldies,
The
yeah,
Guess
right.
Who's got to
Yeah.
be the same band, same era,
Yeah.
And we did 180 people.
With
I
the
lost
Guess Who?
my ass off. Yeah.
You should call me and ask
And
me
I remember
about
my uncle walking by me because I used to say, oh, they're going to do great. I can't wait to hear Midnight Confession, right?
I can see
And
it.
when they played that
Did he
song,
disown you after
when
that?
they played that song, I remember my uncle walking by me. He goes, "Hey kid, enjoy it. Cost you a fortune."
10
never
grand to
forget
hear
it,
that
yeah.
song. I hope you liked it.
My favorite Grassroots song was Live for the Day.
Yeah, that was a great song.
Great song.
Yeah.
The Flashbacks used to nail all that shit pretty
Oh,
good.
they
back
did. Brian
Well, yeah,
McCall.
that's why that show
Yeah.
to me, you would think they would probably do pretty good just with the flashbacks
Yeah.
alone. And
Well,
the
you know what?
oldies
I think
type
what
deal.
people thought is, oh, it's got to be sold out. I'm not going.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah.
I think it was a reactionary thing. I
Because
like.
those were the days when flashbacks
Yeah,
would draw.
we'll stick with that. Yeah. Hey, they thought it was sold out.
Those were the days when the bands would really, really draw. Flashbacks were a big deal.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We had the same month we had Wild Horses played on a Friday
You
night
used to have
there.
I played with I opened up for Moonlight Drive at your club.
Oh, Billy Pettijohn,
With
Moonlight
Poltergeist.
Drive.
I saw
They
them
were
there.
good.
Yeah.
And Billy Pettijohn was every bit the alcoholic drug addict that,
Yeah.
that
He had Beggar's Banquet too.
Yeah,
The
boy, the
Stones
Stones. Yeah,
tribute band.
Yeah.
They were good though.
And
Yeah.
they were amazing. He would stand up on stage, and I always had to give him 2 bottles of Jack Daniels. That was their rider. You had to give him 2 bottles of Jack, and he would stand on stage, and I don't know if he was joking or dead serious. Like Dennis would holler and say, you know, we have any sex lovers, and he'd go through the whole ordeal, and he was just amazing. But Billy Pettijohn stand up there and say, anybody got any Quaaludes? Anybody got any? And he would just like announce that, you know. And
Well, didn't you
and
guys
I
have
think
a
to
song
myself,
called Soperman or something?
Superman, boy. Yeah, now that shows you you're from the 70s in Youngstown. Superman.
They played our after prom. Left End played Class of '73's after
I think
prom.
they played 75 too.
I fell
They might have
asleep
played
in one
ours,
of their
too.
Perkins cabinets, like with my head up against it. I remember Foul Johnny got me in the office of the Wedgwood Lanes, in Mike Dvorak's office. I've been in there before. I'm like, and, he said he threw me out. I said, you mean you're going to let me drive like this? He threw me out. I fell asleep right there.
oh, but
The good old days.
yeah, we had great times. I'm telling you, all the guys in Left End were just amazing.
Class of '73, they
They
were
were just-
rocking. So
yeah.
you were rocking them in '83.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
They were still going.
Yep.
But Dave had one of the premier
I've-
clubs of the
I've
area.
got every album still.
Did you have that when disco hit?
No, because we
You were before that.
Yeah,
You were after
84, 85 was over, you know, because that was, you know, and the funny thing was at that time, there was so much crossover, though.
Yeah.
There was, you know, you'd look at the Billboard charts in the early 80s, and you'd have everything from the Bee Gees, Donna Summers, you know, to AC/DC, or you know, you had the whole array, you know.
How about the
of
bands
music.
though locally that you had though?
Yeah.
I mean, Risque. I remember I mentioned those
Escape,
two. Remember them?
Champion,
From Cleveland. Yeah, Love Affair.
Oh, yeah.
Affair.
With the
right.
with the flame.
Swack, they were called,
yeah.
Sealed with
All
a Kiss.
girl
the-
band.
Jimmy
all-
Golan
yeah.
played with Love Affair.
Yeah.
They used to throw their guitars at each other. They had the stages, the drum riser that
No
revolved.
kidding, I don't remember that.
They used
Of
to use
course,
fly.
Bean
You don't
Taylor,
remember
what
that?
a-
You
what
must
a-
have been
what a
working.
talent. he
Billy
was.
Taylor was, I mean, so sad too. He passed away. I mean, you
Yeah.
know, it's just amazing.
They used
But,
to
you
have
know,
B. Taylor group there all the time.
Yeah.
They did Shock the Monkey when I was there.
Oh, yeah.
Good, too.
Yeah, they did.
That's a
Yeah,
great
and,
band.
and Vitamin L. I mean,
Savannah,
everybody would be
did
out
you-
there.
Oh,
Did you
yeah, Vitamin L.
Did you book Savannah there? too?
Savannah. Yeah,
They were-
we had the reunion for all the bands.
Savannah was
You
a
know,
good
that
band,
was
too.
always Menagerie reunion, Savannah reunion.
Yeah.
You know, anytime you wanted to drum up a good night, you had a reunion of a band.
I remember
that
Savannah
everybody loved. you
Played
know?
One of These Nights by the Eagles. Not an easy song to do. Johnny Rongo sang it. You know.
John Rongo.
Harmony was fun.
He
He's
he
my
is
right.
amazing.
I'm allowed to say.
Yeah. He did,
I'd
yeah,
love
we're
to
not
hear
on-
him
I don't
sing.
like to say why fuck
Yeah.
in
You
front of the
can't.
commissioner.
I'd love to hear
Yeah.
John
Well, that's
Rongo
you. You
sing.
got to be careful.
Yeah, but they were good. Savannah was awesome. They were good. That was a good band.
Yep.
They just nailed that. You know.
Remember, who was the guy that did lead singer sang Roxanne all the time? Was it not Laser? Who was
Fast forward.
No, the long hair. They always sang.
Was that Risque?
No. It was our guys. local.
Wasn't it Joe?
Yeah,
Meluso?
Joe.
Lusa?
Joe Meluso.
Oh,
That's
Joey
who it was.
Meluso,
Joey Meluso.
That
right,
was
right. What was the name of
The
that
Works.
No, that was
Wait a minute.
No,
Joe-
no.
Bransky was
He was
in-
with what
The
was it?
Urge?
Laser.
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 Yeah, Laser.
With
Laser.
Bransky and
Yeah,
who
Laser.
was the drummer in that
Nicky-
band?
He always
Nicky
sang-
Tominski.
Nicky Tominski.
He always sang Roxanne, and everybody loved it.
Oh,
when
Joey
he sang
Meluso's
that
a
song.
great
Yeah,
singer.
Yeah.
That boy's a good singer. He's a good musician all around.
Yeah.
I mean, all those guys were good. We had so many good bands though. Remember Rendezvous 602? Used to play your club. Who was the Timmy Comer?
Timmy Comer.
What a
that's
great
right,
bass
that's
player
right.
singer.
How about when it was the Urge and you had
The Urge.
Trent Reznor?
Yeah,
Oh, yeah.
I
How
used to
about
go hear
that?
them.
How about him? I mean, it's
Jaworski,
crazy.
Bransky, and Dresden.
Dresner, right?
Yeah, now how about that? You know, you look at this
Three-piece.
guy's
Two
career, man.
Polacks in the crowd.
Here's a guy that was in the marching band in Mercer High School, and then he goes on to become what he is today.
Yeah.
That's pretty crazy.
They were
Yeah.
good. I like the Urge.
Yeah.
He had a Lynn drum machine before anybody had one. You know, I guess. And
Yeah, he did.
Michael, you know, great guitar player.
There's a
Steve
a
Jaworski
video.
was a great bass player.
There's a video that's floating around out there on
Yeah,
YouTube.
Eyes
and,
Without a Face.
Eyes Without a Face,
he also bought it's talking about him buying his first Moog synthesizer
Uh-huh.
at New York Music, and
Yeah.
how he saved up his money and everything and went down there, and
Okay.
that was like his. I
Well, I
think they
remember-
did it as a part of the anniversary of the company, and they had all these guys telling their stories.
Before 9 Inch Nails, yeah, I remember the Exotic Birds.
Yeah.
And I think the guy who played with Baranski with the law. What was his name? The keyboard player played with Mike.
Oh, yeah.
What was the name of that band? Was that the
Um,
Urge?
Didn't he also play with Sojourn? No.
No.
I know who you mean, though, the keyboard player.
Chuck
with
Thompson.
Chuck Thompson. That was it.
What band was that? The Urge?
It was the Urge.
Okay.
It had to be the Urge.
Matt
Because he was
Carmine?
the keyboard player.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Some good bands back then.
Yeah.
Oh, I know.
And,
But
and
we've had
Who
Jimi
was the
Hendrix.
band
Mike
that did
played
all
with
the
the All
stuff?
Sports
Who was the
band,
band that played a lot of old Peter Gabriel?
Fairweather.
Fairweather.
Yeah,
did
Fairweather.
Did the costume changes,
Yeah.
and they were
Yeah.
amazing.
Fairweather.
Oh, they were, man.
Fairweather.
Fairweather.
Yeah, now think of that too. You know, back in the day, these guys would come out and do these Genesis songs and
Yeah.
stuff like that, and
Yeah.
Trick of
Yeah.
the Tail and
Well,
Squonk and all that
Remember
kind
when
of
I used
stuff.
to play with TKO there with Billy German, Mark Gruber,
Yeah.
Dave Wilson, Stevie Marankovic, me, and we had a keyboard player from Kent. This guy had what was called a Prophet 10 keyboard. $8,000 for this keyboard. And you can only play one note at a time. So it had two keyboards, which made it, Prophet 5 was $5,000. This was $10,000. And a Yamaha Baby Grand piano.
Wow.
We used to bring like $15,000, $16,000 worth of just keyboards in there. And then like today, you could do more with your calculator than you could when you're watching.
Right.
It's the garbage. But that's how,
You're right.
but it was, the keyboard bands were big back then. Every good band had a
Everybody
good keyboard player.
Yeah.
You had to have a keyboard player.
Who was the real pretty girl that sang Denise?
Denise.
Was she with Sojourn?
She was with Sojourn and she went
And-
with the Works.
The Works.
Paradise,
Yeah,
she
The
went
Works.
first.
Yeah, Paradise.
Paradise, yeah, she went with
And
Paradise.
you know what was funny is I started talking to her on Facebook probably 5
I
or
know
8
her
years
brother.
ago.
You know her brother?
And
The
and
nephew.
then she has relatives in PA, and I got her at Trax, and she because they have outside on the patio
Yeah.
in the summertime.
Trax on
and she
224?
came up. in
Oh, no,
Austin.
Trax Austin. Okay.
Yeah, and she come up at to Trax and played
Where
like
does she live now?
She lives like I want to say like 4 hours away.
She
but
was a hell
would
of a
come
singer.
Stay with her family in PA, and she would play the night and then go back and stay there, and then she did it like once a month for 4
I see.
months in the summertime.
Another band used to book the PF Flyer.
PF Flyer,
Remember
yeah.
that? That was
yeah.
Jill Carmichael sang with.
Jill Carmichael,
Yeah.
yeah.
She
yeah.
came, she sang with my band.
Tall, real tall,
Yeah.
tall
Yeah.
Nice
young
girl.
lady,
Good
yeah.
girl.
Yeah.
Yeah, Jill
We're still friends
Carmichael.
with- But PF Flyer, there's so many good bands that played there that
Oh,
were
you
here
got a
today
great
and
memory.
gone tomorrow, too. I mean, Risque was bad. They did Lunatic Fringe. And, and they had the lights. They had the everything was perfect.
You know what's funny though is like when we
People-
did Huey Lewis and the News, I think the tickets were $8, and we sold 1,000. Because
Julie
that was
let
our
me in
fire
for
code
free.
was 1,000, and so we basically lost money on the show, and you always looked and see how much you did per person for the night on the bar, to see if you made any.
I probably drank $300.
Well, but see when the bars jammed like that,
Getting in there.
when the bar is jammed like that, there's no way to get to the bar. So we did 1,000 people, but we did an average like $3 a head. Everybody got one drink or two
Yeah.
drinks.
That,
was
that
it.
would be
Not
like
me.
that, like the days at like the Tomorrow Club. If you fought your way down to the front of the stage
Yeah.
and you didn't want to leave that spot,
Right.
you'd piss up against the stage when nobody was looking, just so you didn't leave your
I
spot.
used to
Ouch.
stand at the bar
Yeah.
at the arcade. I lived at the bar.
Uh-huh.
And,
was my
and
spot.
the
So
biggest
you
night
needed
we
more
ever
guys
did,
like Jerry in there.
the biggest night we ever did was Henry Paul and the Outlaws.
Yeah.
Oh, what a
And he's I'm telling you, Green Grass and High Tides, when they played those guitar solos and
I know
stuff
they
coming
played there
through
either.
that, they were amazing.
Coming to the PA
And we
sounds
only
good,
did
don't it?
like 400 people, and they average probably 30 or 40 bucks a head at the bar. You know,
You get them Southern Rock boys in there, man. They're
Oh,
there
it
to
was
party.
great.
They're
Yeah.
drinking whiskey. They ain't there to drink a beer. They're going
Yeah.
to start shooting whiskey, man.
yeah, it was.
Yeah, I'll tell you, Henry Paul and the Outlaws are still put on a good show. And I remember one time we had them up at the Palms at Conneaut Lake. And I'll tell you what, and this was maybe 5 years ago.
Eddie Panuti booked it.
Yeah, Eddie Panuti booked
Good
him.
man.
Yeah, yeah,
A while
yeah.
back.
Eddie Panuti,
Yeah.
and he booked them, and those guys are good friends. You know, he usually does. Well, you know, Eddie will book like all three of Henry Paul's bands. You know, Black Hawk and the Henry Paul band,
Right.
and the Outlaws. So you get like three bands for the price of
not?
one, but
You know
it's the
what I
same guys. You know, they just do different
Makes
songs.
it easy.
But I'll tell you what, they had a couple of old timers in there, man. And when they got into that Green Grass and High Tides, and they had those three guitars just blaring, and you know, the one guy was down, like, you know, almost doing a split. And he said he hadn't done that in years, and that was like one of those nights because the place was small and it was packed.
Small.
And it
That
was
place is
hot,
small.
and there was no air conditioning, and everybody was just jammed up against the stage, and they were just wailing. And it was like, man, it was like a memorable show. It was
That's
really
pretty cool.
good.
When they were at our place, when they showed up, I had put on the marquee out front. I wanted everybody to know Henry Paul was going to be with the band because
Right.
he wasn't, you know.
Yeah.
So I had Henry Paul and the Outlaws, and when they got there, they made me take his name down because they said that he's not the focal point of the band. And I had to go
Yeah.
take Henry Paul down,
Yeah.
and I had to put up on there Dr. Gonzo opening for the Outlaws. And they brought this guy named Dr. Gonzo that was a friggin' comedian.
And they had to have that on the sign.
They had to have that on
Isn't
the
that
sign.
crazy? What are some other crazy demands that you have had over the years that you can remember?
Who were the worst guys to work with?
Some guy, Jerry Centifanti, I think
That
was.
goes without saying, but who? That's the obvious.
You know what? There was the writer for Huey Lewis and the News was huge, you know. And it's funny. If I would have thought of it, I have a box of all the old contracts signed and different signatures and everything on it, and they were bad in some ways because the guy that played bass was I can't remember his name. He used to smoke the cigar.
Yeah.
You know, was tall, skinny,
Was
dark
he the
hair.
original bass player? with
Original
them?
bass player. He had all these like different kinds of meats and meat trays and stuff that you really couldn't find. And then what really and like 25 hand towels, you know, and all these different meats and stuff on it.
For the
and,
bass player.
And the bass player. And then nothing was gone when they left. You know, we had people running around getting stuff. Well, I had a good friend of mine at the time, Jimmy Shina. You know, he went and had to build the door to come in from off the street and to the backstage. You know, nobody really was bad.
How about Left End? Did Left End have any riders? What did you guys have for a rider?
I think they
too much,
they
if
drank a
anything.
little bit of Jack Daniels every now and then.
Yeah.
That's about it.
A little bit of Jack. That's good.
Yeah,
Laid
nobody.
back.
Hey, you know what I want to ask you about? The time Busty Russell showed up at the apartment.
Oh boy, that was the Jim Panatellas thing, and who's
Perfect
the,
for
Ralph?
Left Hand, right?
Who was the other guy? Ralph. That was
Ralph, yeah.
part
I
of the
remember
other-
his
he
name.
was on the Youngstown Police Force or something. But yeah, I guess she had done a show down at Park Burlesque or something, and they said, "Why don't you come on up?" So she came up. And Dennis, he's really into it. Oh yeah, we got to bring her up. So, but she wasn't supposed to take anything off supposedly, and she ended up doing that, and they escorted her off. And
Good for her.
the crowd was going wild. But the thing that nobody else saw, Patsy was in the back. They had that stage door in the back, and you go down the steps into the dressing room and everything.
Right there.
Yeah, and I was next to Pat, you know, so she goes back there, and we're looking at each other going, wow, that was unbelievable. You know, the door flies open, and she's like shooting the moon at us from down in the thing, and Pat, oh my God. Yeah.
How was it looking?
I think that's a legendary moment in Youngstown rock history. You have Dennis T. Menace and Busty
Busty
Russell on the stage at the
Yeah,
same
oh,
How
time.
about that?
Remember
The
days
apartment was one of those.
I used to date a
one of
belly
those-
dancer. She told me I turned her stomach.
One of those. Didn't one of those bars have a shower in it? Like
Oh, the
Carpenter
Holiday
Song.
Bowl. Holiday Bowl had
The
the
Rip Van Winkle
Yeah,
Room.
yeah, the Rip Room. Yeah.
Rip Van
And
Winkle
the
Room.
swimming pool. The dance floor was at the swimming pool. Remember that?
Yeah.
I lived at the Rip Room. I'm telling you, in the late 70s when I worked at Sheet and Tube,
Yeah.
Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday,
You ever asked
Rip
me out?
Room, Sunday, Orange Room.
Okay.
Yeah.
And I'd go from watching You and I,
Just talked about it
Odie.
before you came in.
You and I, and
Karen CJ's. Remember
the
Karen?
there was just a stunning
Bolito?
African American girl that sang lead for him.
With who? You and I?
Rachel, or with You and I.
I don't remember.
What,
I don't remember the black girl with them.
She was with them. No. Wasn't it? Maybe it was Chain Reaction.
Chain Reaction.
Chain Reaction. Billy LaGuardia.
Billy LaGuardia. Rucci
Yeah.
played drums. Gary Rohan, who went with Michael Stanley, mentioned it again, played sax for them.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Gizzy. Hi, Gizzy. Hi, Giz.
Oh,
Okay.
God. Lived there, listened to disco, 5 nights a week, and then Sunday left then. And it was always Sunday left then.
I was there 3 or 4 nights a week, I know.
Yeah.
I loved that place.
Now, how
Where's
about
it
you,
gonna go?
Tom? Do you have like a most memorable left end gig out there?
Favorite.
All time favorite? Is there one that just really stands out that you say, man, that was just like wild?
It was
or-
probably more of a later time though, but we did that Yankee Lake Jam. That was the biggest crowd actually I don't know if they were any bigger than when we did the Detroit thing. But,
Yeah.
Was ZZ Top you mean at Yankee Lake?
Yeah, ZZ Top. We did a couple of them there, but yeah, Ted Nugent and ZZ Top,
That'd be
and then
cool.
and we did the other stage there. But it was awesome to just look out over that just sea of heads.
Wow.
You know, it was pretty cool. And the guys from ZZ Top, they were behind and they were looking at cars and stuff.
Uh-huh.
And that was pretty cool.
That's good stuff.
That's a rush.
Open it for Parliament.
That-
I mean, headline in Parliament, have a Parliament.
in
open.
Detroit.
Yeah, that was really wild. For sure.
How they, yeah. That would be rough.
I can't. We told Dennis, make sure whatever you do not say. And I can't remember what it was.
I know, but
He wasn't supposed to say.
how
but
about
he
this
did.
stuff?
Oh yeah, if you it
You had to
seems like
watch him.
if you told him not to say it, it's gonna happen.
Oh, it's gonna happen. Jerry and I were talking, but we were along for the ride. Whatever Dennis was gonna do, we were along for the ride.
Yeah.
And we.
You guys had a lot of improvising going on around Dennis.
They were at his Murphy.
The one time, there was a memorable time. We played the House of Bud in Cleveland, and we were on Polydor at the time, and they had sent us a bunch of these suckers, big lollipops, and it had their Polydor logo on it. It said, "Left end, you suck," on all the wrappers. And there was little lollipops and stuff, and the small suckers, but there were some big ones and everything. Well, they gave me the big box. So the idea was, during Bad Talking Later or something, he's gonna lob them into the crowd.
Oh.
We said, make sure whatever you do, when you do that, because it was a tall scene, lob them up really high and let them drop down into the crowd. Okay. No, that ain't what happened. He picked it out of the box and he's winging them. He's winging them out. And you could see people ducking and stuff. And
So they don't get their eyes poked out of you?
Well, wait a minute.
Next thing you know, they decide they're going to throw them back.
Uh-oh.
And we're the targets. We're the targets. So, here they come. Here come them lollipops and them suckers. Next thing you know, here come beer glasses and beer mugs.
It was all in fun.
But Dennis, he was the first one off to the stage. He created the pandemonium, but we had to actually just unplug and get off the stage. Cause
What do you think of Dum Dum with that finish on that Les Paul?
oh, jeez, oh, man.
We had shit that we could beat up back then. We never had, like, show pieces.
Yeah.
Yeah, I remember. Didn't he do a commercial for someplace you guys played in Cleveland, or maybe it was an ad in the Scene magazine or something like Left End doesn't want you to come out tonight, or Left End just wants you to stay home, or something.
Perfect.
That's possible. Somehow we came up with, I don't know if it's a we, I think it might have been our manager, the band you love to hate or something. So that's a good one. That works great. But Dennis was always. The night that we played with the New York Dolls was pretty memorable.
Yeah, tell us a little bit about that one.
Those guys
That's
can't play, though. You guys can play.
Yeah.
Dennis, as far as the gig was concerned, Dennis, he got the people going. We're out there, the Allen Theater, nice big stage and everything. And, he's running around and stuff, and he went over to far side, and there was this person that was like all made up and everything. Well, here was this guy that was in drag.
David Johansen.
No, there's somebody in the
Oh.
crowd. So Dennis runs over there, and he's laying a lip lock on. He thought it was some chick or something, like that.
Dennis kissed him.
Yeah, oh yeah, he was all over. And just some of the stuff that he would come up with.
All right.
It's good stuff.
And so then, like, what, you road crew and the Dolls got into it or something at the...
Roy, I was with Roy.
Right.
Yeah, and those guys they really had super attitudes. You know, they really thought they were the stuff. You know, and so there was this metal staircase that went up to the dressing rooms, and we were on the lower thing, and I don't know which one of the Dolls it was. It wasn't David Johann. I think one of the bass players.
Sylvain.
Yeah, I don't know who it was, but. You know,
Just recently
they
died.
were all spiked out and stuff, and he had his chick, and they all looked like they were rock and roll people, you know, for sure, just the way they were dressed and everything, you know, severe makeup and just, and with the attitude, so we could walk him by, and Roy says to the one guy, he says, "Hey, how you doing, man?" And the guy made some kind of snide remark at Roy or something, you know, like that. So the guy starts to walk up the steps, you know, these metal steps, and Roy looks at me and goes, "You shouldn't have said that." He says, "That was uncalled for." Next thing you know, he leans over and he grabs this guy by his boot. He had them big platform shit. He drugged this guy down them metal steps.
Good.
Yeah, just drug him down. And actually, he ran up the steps and stuff like that.
Welcome to
Boy's a big
Youngstown.
boy.
You know?
Yeah.
Meet the boys from Youngstown, you know?
East side of Youngstown.
Roy was a funny guy. Back in it, we used to have these platform shoes. You know, so the platform's pretty big. Heels are real big on this stuff. So, well, he decided he's going to take the shoes to the shoemaker one day. He wants to cut them down. He's tired of these really, really tall boots. We were playing at the flying machine, dressing room
Who
upstairs.
wanted him cut down? Roy.
Roy wanted his boots cut down.
He's playing it first.
So he stops, picks his boots up, you know, and brings them to the gig, you know, and everything. So he goes and puts the boots on. Well, the guy that cut the boots down, he cut the heels down too far. So instead of standing straight, he was like this. So he was leaning back like this, and actually he had to just accentuate that, you know. Roy.
Yeah.
So he comes along, he's standing on the stage. I don't know how he did it, but he was like this severe angle playing, you know. And Patsy and I just busting up.
That's a Spinal Tap story.
Yeah, just the stuff that he would come up with was hilarious.
So, how would you sum up your years with Left Hand? It had to be a blast. You know.
Yeah, it was, you know, I was fortunate to be able to get into that band, you know, and we had a lot of good times. It was kind of a tough time because, you know, the whole time we're trying to make it big, and we got on the Polydor and we thought, this is it, we're on our way.
Yeah.
Well, the first thing we realized is that you didn't go from Youngstown to the top of the ladder. You just basically went up one step of the ladder is all you did. But then the thing that really kind of clinched the whole thing was when the disco thing hit. You know, we just saw it all go away. Mm-hmm. You know, I mean, at that time we were doing like all night of original material. You know, and next thing you know, the Bee Gees that was it. That was the sound. And the other thing that happened, it went from up to that point there, people wanted to go out to hear bands. They wanted, they wanted to see somebody play great guitar, or some vocalist sing great, or whatever pandemonium was going to go on. They were into that whole thing. And when disco hit, all of a sudden, I think they just said, I don't really want to go watch these guys. I want people to look at me.
VIP. Remember the VIP?
Yeah.
We'd walk right past the live band.
They go out and they got their Fred Astaire dance lessons and stuff. Next thing you know, they're there with a beautiful three-piece suit. I mean, they're just looking killer. Hair is perfect. And they got their dance moves down. So now,
hustle.
And then the dance floors, that's when the lighted dance floors came and the big sound systems came.
You never had disco at your club, though. You survived without it.
Rip Room was one of the first ones that had that lighted Saturday
Wildlife.
Night
Yeah,
Fever.
exactly.
Remember when they had the just the drummer?
Yeah, Joe.
Yeah.
Joe
Oh, yeah.
Just the drummer. They had the disco
Joe
going.
Gluchar used to do
Gluchar. And you know who else? The guy that had the teeny trailers. He was a.
Steve Lawrence used to drum.
He was a
too.
DJ. Steve. I can't.
Trailer.
Yeah, his father owned Teeny Trailer over on the south side there.
He and a DJ.
Yeah, and he flew airplanes. Steve, I can't think
real
of his
airplanes?
name.
I know who you mean too. But yeah, so that's what happened then. You know, everybody, like you say, they made that big switch. I never made that big switch.
Wildlife was
I
cool.
could never afford the three-piece suit. You know, I couldn't afford a gold chain. I had a piece of shit car, you know,
Oh,
tennis
we were
shoes
young.
and a t-shirt, you know, that was about
I
where
got married when
stuck.
I was like 20 and divorced when I was 24.
So, you ain't
I
going
think
out
we all
there.
did that. I got married in 81, divorced in like 85, you know, from the bar.
Which wedding did I play at? This one. Did you have the Sensations at your wedding?
Yeah,
That was me.
that was, I know, but that was my wife.
To Jenny. Yeah.
Right now.
Yeah. I remember the other wife.
Yeah.
My first wife.
Yeah, it
got
was
the group
short-lived.
sex.
Short-lived.
Tried to screw me in front of the judge.
Short-lived. Yeah, you played. We were at
Hell's
the
good,
on Bella Vista, St. Mary's Assumption.
You get the
Hall.
best stuffed cabbage.
You know, yeah, it was funny because it was both my wife and I's second marriage, and we were in our 30s. You know, we said we just want to have a
Mine
party.
and Chris' second.
We just want to have a party, and we booked you guys, and
You get a good band. That was a great band.
and everybody
That was my
just
last
had a
gig
great
with them.
time.
Oh, yeah.
Everybody had a great time.
I said, you could fire me, I told him.
Yeah.
I said, but I'm playing Ditzler's wedding.
Yeah.
I booked it for that.
Oh, there you go.
The funny thing is that you know, then because I got married in '92, so it was long after the bar, and at the
Yeah, but you
late
behaved
80s,
yourself. You were always a straight arrow.
Yeah,
from what I
pretty
saw.
much. I mean,
I
if it
wouldn't
didn't-
say nothing anyway.
I went from Miller High Life and VO, you know, to Crown and Killian's,
Yeah.
you know, and then I
Now
got rid
you're
of
a
the
nice little
Killian's.
man.
Now I just sip Crown.
Yeah, just
But,
stick with the crown. There you go.
You're
But
better off.
in the late '80s, when we went to Blossom and stuff, Fred Bolander would send me backstage
Nice.
pass tickets, front row tickets.
You made a
I got a
buddy there.
picture of Jenny sitting on Huey Lewis's lap at the, you know, in a party, you know, and we're holding the album in her hand, and you know, just gave me a lot of opportunities meeting people like you guys, and I was more a fan of most of them.
I was a fanboy too.
Yeah.
I was a musician, but I was a fan.
Yeah, yeah. You know, getting back to the left end in that story, you know, in Patsy's book, you know, when it came down to like the whole contract, and then you know, you guys thought you might have found a better deal or something. Do you think that was the way to go, or where did you stand on all that when it was all going down? That had to be a tough thing for the band to split the band.
It was.
like that.
What had happened is they basically kind of sat on the band because we thought, well, we're on this record label, they're gonna promote the band and yada yada, and they didn't. They put the albums out. You could have been in Tucson, Arizona, and walked into a record store, and you probably would have seen the Left End album, but it would have been in the L's. You're right next to Led Zeppelin, you know. So if you had never heard of Left End, you're not gonna buy it. You know,
Right.
they didn't do any of that. So it came time for us to do a second album, and you know, that was the debate in the band, like what are we gonna do? Because at that time, we were the hottest that we had ever been at that time, and we were afraid they were gonna sit on us again. So we thought, well, since we're so hot, there's a possibility that we can get another label who would stand behind us to get behind us and push us the rest of the way up. And we decided that was kind of a fuzzy time there, but we basically said, no, we're not going to do it again. We're going to find another label and go. And we were never able to
In
find another label.
hindsight.
In hindsight, we should have stuck with
Right.
them. We'd have had a second album out. Who knows what happened?
Yeah,
You could
exactly.
have wrote it another couple.
Well, you know
years.
what? I saw the same thing kind of happen to the Michael Stanley Band at some point too, where
Yeah.
you know the band, you know, they were on one of those labels, and then nothing happened. And
different
you're
era.
sitting there going, okay, these guys don't even call us or anything. What are we
Right.
supposed to do?
Exactly,
You know,
you're
we
stuck.
you know we're kind of cooking. We're hot right now, and then it's like, well, let's see what we could do. And
Exactly.
you know, that had to be a tough position though for you guys to be in. Huh?
Now you can't even get a record contract.
Yeah.
Or do you even need it? I mean, are there any such thing as a record?
The record company give you a pile of money. You go out and buy new gear and clothes, and then you take all your money from the record.
Now, what about your memories of shooting the album cover for Spoiled Rotten with, you know, just that whole crazy scene
Spaghetti.
and everything? What was that whole scene like?
Well,
Butler.
Yeah, the
they
waiter.
flew us
and-
up to New York, so with that was where the company was at, and they had a whole thing planned out for us for the day. Well, the first thing, we go to this, I think it was called Sardi's Restaurant, which
I
was
heard of that.
at the time, I think it was like the biggest place in one of the biggest places. All the stars go there and stuff in New York City. Okay, so their first plan, they open up these boxes and they've got these little Lord Fauntleroy outfits. You know, kind of like what's Angus Young
Yeah.
wears, that kind of
Right.
thing. For all of us, we're going, what is this? You know,
Yeah.
and they said, well, you know, just go. So we put them on, and we took a bunch of pictures with that, and which was really something.
Nobody's ever seen those, so.
Which you're probably glad.
Well, we did, but anyway. So, but then they said, okay, you can wear what you brought. So we showed up, but so they decided to have this thing at this dinner table in Sardi's restaurant and everything, and the waiter that was there was their head waiter. And I guess when we went in, I don't remember this exactly, but I think we kind of gone through the kitchen. I think it was Dennis's idea. He saw this live chicken. He said, "Oh, we're gonna have the live chicken."
Of course.
Yeah. So we bring the live chicken in there, and this guy said, Dennis. I think it was once again Dennis's idea. We should pour this spaghetti over this guy's head. So this guy's no. So they offered him X amount. I don't know how much it was. They offered him money to do it. He says, "All right, one time." So that's what they did. So it was all staged, we're there,
right.
Everything. And the chicken's running around on the table, and the picture. I still don't know how it came about, but I think we were like right in the middle of it because they're taking shots. Snap, 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 snaps going on. This chicken's running around and everything, and I went to go grab the chicken, which is my pose, And everybody's going, "What were you doing?" I says, "I was trying to grab the chicken," But they snapped the shot when I was trying to do that.
You gonna choke it?
I had no idea. I wanted to grab the chicken though for some reason, but so that's what the
like
shot
right
came
now.
out.
That's wild. That's still a classic album cover. When you think of album covers out there, all right, I think Mario's giving us the time. Oh, we can keep going? Oh, you were stretching. I thought you said, okay, get Jerry out of here. Oh, okay. I thought after the choke the chicken, I thought you were saying, okay, out. Oh, he was just stretching. Okay.
You let me swear last time.
Yeah, he let you swear. You can talk about choking the chicken. You're just right at home here. Yeah, I would say though that album cover was just really wild, man. That
Another thing about that album though, when we had recorded at Cleveland Recording, and we had the final mix down, and they had their big JBL studio monitors there, and then we had like some 6x9s to simulate a car stereo, how it's going to sound going down the car and down the road. And when we heard that thing, it really sounded. I thought sonically it sounded as good as anything I'd ever heard by anybody. So we were all excited.
So much for all those speakers.
Yeah. So then that goes to like a test acetate or something like that, and even then I think they sent that to us for okay. I think if I remember, you can only play it like one time or something because it ruins it.
Yeah.
But anyway, so now we're all excited. And we got together at Patsy's house. We can't wait. The albums are done. They're all they're wrapped. They're going out. We get our first album. So we're meeting at Patsy's house and everything. Patsy had a really nice stereo. Okay, put this thing on. We're sitting there. We're all excited and everything. Put it on. It was like, what is that? It's like that wasn't even close to it just sounds. Yeah, just everything about it was like. Just the overall sound was like, what happened? Because before it just sounded so good. We were excited.
Yeah.
Wait till people hear this. This sounds great. I'm not talking about the playing part of it. Just the
playing was great, but
the overall
sonic
sound.
Yeah.
The sonic.
It was flat, wasn't it?
Yeah, it was terrible. And
Like
by then it was too late. They were already, the plastic was printed, the labels are on there,
Yeah.
the sleeves, they
They're
got
done.
the shrink wrap around them, and they're gone.
Oh man.
Too late.
That's like what they did to the human beings. They changed their name and their spelling to the Beans, B-E-I-N-Z instead of B-E-I-N-G-Z.
Yeah.
And then Capital said, tough shit.
Tough shit.
You're the human beings now.
Yeah.
So that had to be a little bit of a bummer, huh?
It was a huge bummer, yeah.
Yeah.
A lot of that stuff all hit at the same time. Right around that time, the disco was hitting. We had that kind of stuff happen. We had the issue where somebody stole our truck.
Yeah.
We had all our stuff. Everything was in there.
wow.
Sound Treatments PA was in there. All our equipment was in there. Michael Katavi was our sound guy at the time. It was parked up at Wedgwood parking lot, and he lived in Wedgwood there. So he goes up. Had a job that night. So he goes to get the truck to go to the job, and he goes. So he calls Jimmy. He says, "Hey, did you take the truck?" "No." "Why?" He says, "It ain't here."
Oh man.
So somebody stole the
They
truck.
found it, though. So,
They found the truck like
get ready to go
no, they found the truck like a week later in Hubbard in a van in a field somewhere
I
empty. with the
know
back-
the guy that stole that truck.
Yeah, what was his name?
Mike.
Yes. But they had, and this guy used to come into the back room all
I
the
know
time,
everything, Dave. Remember that.
and he was like our best friend.
No
I
shit.
love the band. He loved the band. Oh, you guys are the greatest and stuff like that, you know. And here, you know, he was kind of finding out where our stuff is at and everything. Here, they had all that stuff sold. It was going to Florida.
Yeah.
Going to Florida. They had it in a warehouse in Austin Town. I think
Another great rock club we forgot to mention.
And,
Did they
What's
find
that?
it? Did they get it?
they got some. A lot of it had gone already. They had all sold. It was gone.
Did they sell some of the stuff?
Yeah, I lost some of my stuff in the Marshall cabinet.
Of course, that's
a couple other stuff.
The
you
good
know.
stuff.
But
Yeah.
so they had the FBI. They got the tip off that these guys, and they had other things in this where they had like ditch diggers and boats or
Oh,
whatever.
so they had the whole 9
Yeah,
yards.
they had all
going.
kinds
Thieves,
of.
man.
It was already spoken for. They had it sold in Florida somewhere. So they
One of his mothers lived in Florida.
was that what it was?
Yeah.
They had a big truck. So the FBI they're
Your truck.
in the field. Outside of this warehouse waiting, because they had the tip off. So they waited. Here comes the door. Open up the door. The truck comes driving out and everything. They go with their guns or whatever they had. They stopped them, and sure enough, there was all the rest of our stuff. We got back. But in the meantime, we didn't have any. We had all these jobs to play. We didn't have any equipment. So our friends would say, "Well, I'm not playing tonight. You can borrow my twin, or you can borrow these drums." Every night we had a different amp, different drum set.
That sucks. I mean, it's hard to replace your gear.
It is.
It's just, this shit ain't cheap.
Oh yeah. And then once you get your rig set up exactly
your
how you
sound,
like it, and you know how you want everything set, and you got to have it the exact right way.
Every night was like, who is this band? So what is this sound? Because you got used to that sound. It's like putting on a pair of jeans that fit you right.
Right.
All of a sudden you got your next door neighbor's jeans. And they're kind of on, but
Not to mention that the shit's expensive.
yeah.
If you don't have insurance, I don't know.
Well, thank God we had people that helped us out and
God bless.
loaned us stuff. But I had.
Ain't the same though.
I played a Marshall amp, for the longest time and everything.
You always had a Marshall
I was
stack.
used to that, and somebody lent me a twin reverb one night. Well, bless him, because I had an amp to use, but boy,
Yeah.
wow,
Wasn't the same, was it?
that was really.
Makes you remember why you sold your twin and bought a Marshall.
That's right. That's
The
right.
twins are good amps. Don't get me wrong.
Oh, they're great, but they're great for what
Different.
they're great for.
Yeah.
But I think it's amazing on how you guys have been able to maintain the interest of people in Youngstown over all these years.
All these years,
To this
yeah.
day,
It
you
is
mentioned
amazing.
Left End, and it's just like, man, Left
We got
End.
Ditzler here.
Yeah.
He was busy.
I know.
Well, Patsy's on top.
Sport band like
Seems
David's here.
Everybody knows Patsy. They're always talking to Pat. That's where he gets all the things. I'm kind of like a mysterious guy.
Right.
That disappeared somewhere.
Patsy was always outgoing.
But he's
nice
always
guy.
outgoing.
They're all nice guys, though. I mean,
Yeah.
Jimmy is the same.
Even though they hang around with you, I don't know how, but
He's the only one that hangs
whatever.
around with me.
You know.
I'm the only one.
He actually good influence on me, Mr. Tom.
Okay,
Yeah.
that's good to hear.
I've calmed him down. You could tell.
Yeah. He was on his
He
best
is calm
behavior
down.
today.
He is-
Absolutely.
Now, I noticed you started behaving yourself a little more when Dave came in.
Right.
You were going to show him a little bit of respect.
You don't need to hear that. He's got a, he's, like with Anthony. You got to respect these guys. These guys are,
I'll tell you, we do have some
We're not
rocking
bums.
commissioners here in Mahoning County, huh? I mean,
Yeah.
we
they're
got
all
two-
good. I like all three of them.
You know.
I'm friends with all three.
Yeah.
You know
By the
what,
way, I
though?
got to talk to you. My
I'm
daughter
telling
needs
you,
a job.
The only thing I can play is the radio. I mean, I
It's all right.
have
My
like,
dad couldn't play anything.
I have
My
no
mom-
artistic talent whatsoever.
That's like me. When it comes to
It's
music,
bad.
I
My
think
dad
that's
was
why I
back
got
this-
into radio is because at least I could be,
Yeah.
I like music so much and I'm such a fan. I had wanted to be around it in some way,
Yeah.
My man could. Nobody in my family was really musical. My mom used after
Don't say no jokes now.
after after we got our instruments, then my mom learned music. But we had no music in our house.
Now, Tom, earlier you said you were a little different, right? Your sister played.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Did you say your dad played too?
A little bit, yeah. A couple chords, and
My
they'd sit
brother
on the
played
front porch
keyboard.
and sing
Wow.
country songs. And
Yeah.
I remember my mom had a friend of hers that she had worked with. She had a gorgeous voice, and she would come over once in a while. When she was coming over, it was like, oh, this is a treat,
Yeah.
But that was pretty inspiring, on the old sitting on the porch, watch the cars go up and down the street.
Where'd you go to high school at?
I ended up at Fitch High School. I went from 9 to 12, and then I lived on the south side, so all my grade school was at Jackson School, which is, I just found out recently, that's torn down.
Yeah.
And then I went to Wilson for 7th and 8th grade. That was like the
Okay.
only years they did that.
Where'd you graduate from Fitch?
Fitch.
They tore
What
the
year?
Boston Bug down too.
69.
69.
Yeah.
Summer of Love.
We were the first graduating class of the new
Out of the
building,
new school.
of which they want to tear down now because it's not good enough.
Look, the fish you graduated from, that's still brand new, ain't it?
Yeah.
To me it is.
That's what I'm saying.
We went to Wilson, that was...
They're
that's
talking about
what
something, the
was
rooms are too small or the heating wasn't good. I saw this. I thought, what are they talking
Yeah,
about?
all those schools back in the day, though, Adams.
It's like,
and-
I remember
yeah.
we used to cut the third floor boys' room at Adams. You could stick a screwdriver and go up on the roof. I remember us cutting the whole day up on the roof. It was like a day like today, pouring down rain, cold, and we're up there like dumbasses.
It's like Hangover, huh?
Huh?
On the roof, huh? Knocking on the roof.
We locked ourselves out. We couldn't get out. We had to wait till school was out so we could bang on the door to get out. But yeah, Adams, it was right, you hear the mill whistles.
Oh, yeah.
That was a depressing school.
Yeah.
After coming from Bunn with all the ceramic tiles.
I saw somebody posted some pictures from Adams. It's, you know, there's
I used
still
to have
like
to duck
books
in
and
the
there's still
cafeteria.
like, there's still like books and stuff scattered around inside the building and
7-foot
stuff.
ceilings in the
It looks
cafeteria.
like you know, it looks like something out of a horror movie.
It was.
You know, and well, you can imagine it now. You know, now that it's all falling apart, and then you still got like books and blackboards and stuff laying around, and desks tipped over, and
I had a teacher there that used to, I think, you know, because it used to give me like my homework back, like lips all over it and everything. And one day he sent me a picture of his penis.
I knew you were going with that one. And you were homeschooled. So, well, how about you, Dave? What was the first album you bought?
Oh, wow. I remember the first record I bought.
You liked Happy Anniversary, Baby. Remember that? Little River
I
Band.
remember
that.
I still
Little River Band.
remember. You come and be. We worked in the building.
The first.
Used to ride the
first-
hooks.
You know what? We used to get down to G.C. Murphy in the Mahoning Plaza, and they had a record store in there, and you
remember
could try the 45s and play them. You could put a 45 on and
He
play
was
'em.
talking about that
He was
before
just
you
talking about
came.
that
You the
earlier,
guy
yeah.
here for the whole show? You didn't know that he said that about the record market?
Really? Really? Wow. And you could play a record, and I remember buying, who was the label that had the orange, like, looked like a swoop, orange and
Orange and yellow and gold, like all
orange and yellow. It
Chrysalis.
was like a, was it Chrysalis?
Yes.
But the first record I was probably
Or Capital.
Yeah,
Capital. It was
Yeah,
Capital,
Black
right?
letters, yeah.
Yeah.
I think the first record I bought was Judy in Disguise. And
John
and,
Fred and the Playboy Band.
and the Playboy. I bought that, and I went in and listened to it. And I remember my mother, when I played it at home, and I can't remember what year it was, but I was really young. And I played it at home, and my mother was mortified because it said, "In your living bra, Canada Basto over tonight, Judy in Disguise."
Yeah.
And it said, "In
Amazing
your
what
living bra."
mortifies them back then.
And
Oh,
how about that? You
Well,
know,
when we used to do Candida by Tony Orlando, we had to learn it for a prom. And my dad thought we were saying, "Oh, my Candida, wake up naked together." But it's "we can make it together."
Yeah.
But you see how words get.
Oh, yeah.
But you actually did say living bra.
Yeah.
Remember living bra? Playtex had a living bra.
yeah,
They
that's
advertised it on TV and said it.
Yeah.
I know somebody that thought Panama from Van Halen that they were saying padded bra. Padded bra,
I can see that.
padded bra.
I thought John Lennon was saying the girl with colitis goes by.
That was another one, yeah. There's a bathroom on the right.
Yeah. And I remember when I was filling in with the flashbacks, we were in the van going to the gig. They used to, some guy thought it was Big Old Jet had a light on. Big Old Jet had a light on. And then one night I'm playing Bill's place, and Steve Lawrence goes, "What's that song? Do the Lucky Lady." It's "Dude Looks Like a Lady."
Oh, yeah.
I said, "Dude looks like a lady."
Or do a funky lady, somebody said,
Yeah.
you know.
I mean, words. How did we get words? We didn't have YouTube to learn songs. We didn't have guitar tutors, bro.
You know, I'm
Right.
amazed how you guys can listen to a song and recreate it,
Yeah,
play
both-
it, and
We
I
didn't
mean,
have
just
Both of these guys, Jerry listens to a song and he's just like,
I rehearse on my way to practice. I put the song on. And
He's amazing. He just
I'm not amazing. you know.
yeah, you are. The first time when I went over, we were
You've been doing
talking
something
about
all your
different
life.
songs and stuff, you know.
I was
and,
7 when
and
I
we
was
would talk about an old
know.
song or something like that, and he would play it, like
It's
note
not
for
big
note, you know.
I wish I could put brakes on my
Just
car.
Pulls it out of the sky.
Yeah, that's
Now,
See, I couldn't even pull my own solos out of sky.
now, when you guys were learning too, I mean, you'd have what 45 there, maybe
Yeah.
slow it
Yeah.
down, or
Sometimes
just
we'd have to
go to
pass it.
33.
you know, yeah.
Get that needle and back and forth.
And,
back.
and then you'd go,
And then it would lower the key. So you could finally hear the riff
Right.
and learn
And
the
you
riff.
have to move it up
But
8
you learn
frets.
it in a different key. And so when you finally got the riff, then you had to relearn
See-
it in the correct key.
I don't know if you guys know about it, but if you play something here, right?
yeah.
That's not. I don't think anybody wrote that. It's the same thing here. Now, if I just tuned my guitar down 2 steps, it would sound like what I did here. So everything repeats itself. So if he's doing, if that's in the record and it's up here, it's not like the piano. You get the same result on the guitar. You know, it just moves it up a step.
Yeah.
So you know,
you couldn't teach me to play a guitar if I took 10 years.
you'd have to really want to play. That's the only reason why you want to do this to yourself, and then play with a bunch of assholes for the next 50 years.
I always wanted to learn. Like one intro, like to Smoke on the Water or
Okay, that's
something.
easy as fuck.
You know, and
You
and,
could play that.
and be able to just go over somebody's house that's playing a guitar or something and say,
And just
oh
jump
yeah,
in.
just take it and go, and sit down and go.
Or just one little song that you can sing along, that you can go through the whole song. Hey, hand me that guitar. Let me jump in here.
We're not allowed to do that.
Yeah.
What do you mean?
I don't know all that.
Because with YouTube, you can't play any licensed
Anybody
music.
know?
They
Oh,
lock you off.
gotcha.
How come they let us have covers on?
Oh, they used to come and beat the heck out of me. BMI,
How do
ASCAP,
you spell that?
you know, all of them. You know, trying to make sure you're paying royalties at the bar.
Oh yeah.
Well,
You know,
used to
I
play
always
in a
had
band.
somebody, you know, coming in. I'd say, "Hey, go talk to the bandsman. They're playing." I don't know.
I used to play in a band with the dude that was an agent for ASCAP. And we go like to we played like in Washington, D.C. at the Mayflower Hotel for a wedding, I remember. And he was we'd go to clubs like before we'd start, after we were done, and he'd be taking down whatever what songs.
Oh
he was
yeah.
playing.
Oh yeah.
He was a prick anyway.
Oh, I know.
Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah,
when
be a
them
prick
guys
to
would
be-
when those guys would come around, especially like on South Avenue, I can remember, and they would do that. They would write down those songs.
Yep.
My one buddy, he was spinning tunes at some place in Girard, and the BMI guy came in, so he's just watching. He's only playing ASCAP. He played one BMI song, and that guy knew it, and they got busted.
I'm sorry, Fred, but I feel once you put that out and release it, it's public frickin' property, right?
I don't know. You got to ask Tommy.
Well, you know what? The only
If
thing I
somebody
say
wants
to
to play
that is,
Cyclone Rider
Go ahead.
on a radio,
Yeah.
on a record player at a bar, are you gonna bitch? No.
Yeah, and so what about
I'd
the
be
fact
honored.
that we were playing the left end songs? Those are, I think, copyrighted with
they're
BMI
yours.
or something.
Yeah, but they're yours.
Oh, so since it's mine, it's okay?
Yeah, yeah.
well,
Did I show you the song Frankenstein?
He's gonna make me
I wrote?
pay.
Did I show you the song? In the God of the Beat that I
Right,
wrote?
I remember when you wrote that one.
Yeah,
Yeah, you and Dennis. That was a good one.
Yeah, it was.
you know, God of the beat.
Oh well.
Yeah.
Oh my.
Well, what do you think? We're about ready to wrap this up. Throwing another song. You guys want to do another little left end number here since we got the
What, do
commissioner?
have
We got him
another
out of
left-hand
the.
song we could do.
We didn't have any when we started.
Yeah, we were just making them up as we went along.
Let me see if
Hey,
I can-
that's why.
let me see
That's
if
why
I can
these
find
songs
it.
aren't going to go. They'll make it through the censor on YouTube because they
Yeah.
didn't sound like it anyway.
Yeah, they don't want to
they
do it
don't.
anyway.
They don't know what song that was.
edit it
Yeah,
out.
it ain't in their
My guitar
matrix.
didn't sound like that.
Uh-oh.
See,
Uh-oh, Dave's looking for one now.
I'm gonna
Tommy,
look
he's
for
going to
one.
make you think now. Don't make Tommy think too hard.
Yeah, I'm
Come on,
struggling
man.
as it is. I'm old. I
I
am
wanna
70
do-
years old now.
I want to do Spoiled Rotten.
Oh, jeez.
Ain't that love? That was a good one. Ain't that love?
Something like that, right?
End of my road.
End of my rope.
End of my road.
They put road on here. I always thought it was end of my road. End of my
Hey,
road.
another one of those misread lyrics right there.
I
Hey,
was saying,
play End
I
of
was
the
thinking to
Road,
myself,
man.
I used to say end of my rope, and here it says road on the list of your
No,
songs.
it is rope.
It is rope, yeah.
Yeah,
He's at the end of his rope.
Yeah.
yeah.
What else is on there?
Oh, jeez.
You got the whole catalog on there, you know.
I do, man. It says Left End's top 10 was Bad Talking Lady, It's Over, Loser, Spoiled Rotten. Beefheart, Every Little Thing, Sweet Lovin', Take It in Stride, Mary Jo, Sunshine Girl, Talkin', Whiskey and Whiskey.
I like My Molly Brown was a good one. Molly
can't-
Brown was a great
I
song.
can't play any of those songs.
She makes my doggone head swirl. We didn't tell him that. Should have said something.
Molly Brown.
Yeah. That was a Dennis. That was Dennis. You tended not to argue with Dennis.
But no, Dennis was kind of corny,
Yeah.
heavy metal guy,
Yeah.
heavy
Yeah.
rock.
Yeah.
Dennis,
Could Dennis
from
play an
old school.
instrument?
Tambourine. It was in the union book.
No,
Musicians union.
not really. I think he played harmonica.
He was the
once or
pipers. They
twice.
had to
Oh, yeah,
join the
yeah,
union.
yeah.
But
I
that
Yeah,
was,
you're
that was
right.
a little rarity. That was about it.
Yeah, is there a musicians union anymore?
Yeah, there is, but nobody belongs to it.
Now, what was that? The reason to keep everybody, make sure everybody got a fair gig and people
Money,
didn't
and
undercut
for those
anybody.
guys to get their union dues and create a job for.
Yeah. It was,
Okay, yeah, like the BMI guy. So the BMI guy and the union guy would go out together and
Now listen,
shake
You know,
people down.
one of my best Goombas is Mike Roncon. He was vice president of the union.
yeah.
And when Mike says it's bullshit, it's bullshit.
Well, it was bullshit.
It was.
It
But I was the youngest member in Youngstown of the union, 10 years old. I was
We got in trouble with the
I needed-
Cleveland
I
Union
needed-
one time.
Who?
The Cleveland Union. We were playing at Spanky's up in North Ridgeville.
Remember?
And we're in a nice club and everything. And we're in the back room. Dennis, we're getting ready and stuff. Dennis is putting up on his makeup and stuff. Sitting there. All of a sudden, these two guys come in with suits. They're from the Cleveland Union. They, okay, boys, we need to see your cards. Dennis looks up. He goes, "Get the fuck out of here!"
Yeah.
And they're going, "Seriously, we need to see your cards." And Dennis says, "I told you, get the fuck out of here." So Dennis gets up like he's going to attack him. These guys run out of the thing and everything. Well, next thing you know, we get a call from the Youngstown Union, and there was a big stink
I was
about
playing in
that.
Salem one night. The union guy from the union walks in there, wanted to see my union card.
Yeah.
Like
Now, when I
that.
played with Dom Taco,
Uh-huh.
we were in the union, but we were in the performers union. He put us because Dominic was president of the Teamsters in Cleveland, Independence, Ohio. He's a union guy, so we joined the union. He paid our dues, I think.
But there was like really no point to it other than like almost
No.
kind of a shakedown
Yeah.
sort of thing.
We played at,
Shake
I think
down,
Don-
break
Don-
down,
we were in West
break
Virginia or
down.
something, playing a club in West Virginia, and I can't remember, we either got shorted our pay or didn't get paid, or something like that.
That happened to us at
Well,
Park.
they had like the shady thing going on, like they had gambling going on in the back.
Oh, yeah.
Or something like
yeah,
that.
we opened up for the McCoys and didn't get paid.
Yeah, so when it come time to get paid, they just went like, "Yeah, right, you're gonna get paid." Yeah, what are you gonna do? Yeah.
Yeah.
So we reported and everything like that. We never got. a dime.
They're supposed to blacklist you. They're supposed to
Yeah.
put you on a blacklist.
Right.
And we get the newsletter every month. And this guy, this racketeer from Newcastle that stiffed us, he never got on the
Yeah.
list.
I'm trying to think of the booking agent I used to talk to out of Cleveland.
Dennis Ballone.
Dennis
Ballone.
Ballone. Dennis Ballone.
Ask me if you forget stuff, Daddy. Oh, I remember
Wow.
that shit. I had to deal
Ron
with
LaSalle and the Silver Bullet Band. Remember you
Yeah.
kind of did Seeger.
Remember
and,
John
uh,
Tevis and them guys? Did you deal with them?
Yeah. And there was one in
Ballone,
Pittsburgh
he
I
was
used to
Rich
deal with.
Paulus
Um,
from Pittsburgh.
Otto Newberg?
what would be the name of the agency in Pittsburgh?
Top Shelf?
Top Shelf.
Energy.
Top Shelf
Remember
in
Energy?
Pittsburgh.
Energy
Top
Talent
Shelf,
was
yeah.
big up there, too.
Top Shelf.
They
They
sent
used
us
to send me albums.
They
You
sent
know,
us to.
they would send me albums from the
Who's-
bands that were
Lorraine.
coming out.
They was sent us to Lorraine, told us we were getting $750. The guy gave us $300.
I remember driving to New York to a club to hear a band that wanted to play at the bar called Rail, and it was the Battle of the Bands, and we went down there to see them play, and we ended up booking them. But
No kidding?
yeah, Rail.
Cool.
I remember one time we were drunk at Put in Bay, and we saw this band up there, and we thought they were the greatest band ever. And we said, "You got to book these guys for the rib burn off. You got to get them at the rib burn off." They suck so bad, and they wanted all this money to come and play at the rib burn off and put them up and everything. To
Well,
come to,
that's Sandusky, bro. That's a
it
far
was-
drive, right?
It was just like, man, what were we thinking?
You were drunk.
And we thought they were the best band in the world.
They probably were that
Those guys
night.
are so good.
They were that. You're nuts, bro.
That's crazy.
That's why I like.
That's crazy.
That is
It's
good
just
stuff.
funny,
We
right?
used to remember Jerry Starr used to be at our bar all the time, introducing from WSRD. I paid
yeah.
WSRD $1,000 a week.
for
in the
advertising.
80s.
Really?
Advertisement.
Advertisement on the radio.
Well, you were on you had to have an ad on 5
I'm
nights
telling
a
you, we
week.
had ads on all the time. You know, the first year we opened, we grossed $1 million
Wow.
in the early 80s, and we made like, I remember we took $1,000 a month salary, and we ended up making like 40 grand, and bought a new air conditioner and new tables and this and that, and the money was gone,
Right.
and it was the biggest year we ever had. It was the first year.
Well, what made you sell it? There was an offer for the property, or?
No, you know what? My uncle, who I originally went in partners with, he went to Poland up to the Kaliba and was part of opening that.
He was
And
what?
He got the Kaliba. Remember
Oh, he
that?
was getting that.
He was opening that bar, and you know, it was like
What was his first
everything.
name?
Everything started
What was
changing.
your cousin's first name?
Jim Jones.
Jimmy Jones,
Yeah,
that's
Jimmy,
right.
yeah.
I liked him.
And everything started changing. You know, we only held 60 cars parking, and we did 1,000 people, so I had to rent the Arts
Yeah.
and Science parking lot,
How the hell did
caddy
you fit
corner
all the
from YSU.
people in there?
And I would pay them $80 a night, and all of a sudden they went from $80 a night to $400. And
Yeah, it's
the
not even
drinking
worth it.
law. Remember, if you look on that flyer that you're showing that was on Facebook from November of '83, it says vote no on issue 1, and that was to raise the drinking law from 18 to 21.
Right.
We were
You
talking
know,
about that
and-
earlier.
Yeah.
too.
And so,
He mentioned-
but when everything changed, you know, little by little by little, it just hurt you a little here,
Took your
a
money
little
away
here, a
from you,
little
buddy.
here, and this
Then they
kind of,
lowered the alcohol, the consumption limit, you know.
and this is you know, I'll make it as short as possible, but you know, I borrowed $10,000 on my house because we bought the building and everything off a guy that owned Gem Metal Company out of Cleveland, Ohio, and in early 80s we paid $250,000 for it, which was a ton of money.
Be like half a.
And we had to put
3/4 of a
20
million.
grand down. My uncle and I each put 10,000 each. I borrowed the 10 on my house, and we paid $5,700 a month with a balloon at the end of 5 years. And at the end of that time period, you know, my uncle was gone. I'm working at Thomas Steel. I'm going back and forth.
Who's running
You know,
it?
business. I was working from till 4, then coming there from 4 till 3 in the morning.
you got
And I
divorced?
did that for like two years.
Oh, yeah.
And it got to a point where I said, that's it. You know, I went back to the guy in Cleveland and said, give me $10,000, I'll sign everything over to you, you know, and you can do what you want with it. And, you know, I said I could pay my second mortgage off, you know, so he ended up going along, we did it, we closed it, he gave me $10,000, and, well, the preface to this was everybody kept saying they want to build a McDonald's there. So I went to see Sam Cavelli, and he said, you know, no, we're not interested in opening any inner city McDonald's. You know,
Across from
And,
YSU.
Yeah, they didn't want to open a city McDonald's.
Then when
And I
you
don't know if
sold
that
it,
was the words or whatever, but
Kinda luck you
you
got
know,
one.
but he wasn't going to open a McDonald's there. So I end up for $10,000 selling it back, signing it back over
plus
after
your
I paid
$1,000 a
50.
month paycheck,
Yeah.
too, though. That helped.
Yeah, and I got, you know, $5,700 a month I paid for 5 years, right?
Some people don't even
And-
get that back, right?
Right. And so anyway, he takes it back over, shuts it down, it's closed, and probably less than a year later, Cavelli sold to Herb Washington the rights to the McDonald's, and I think he paid $500,000 for the property to put the McDonald's up less than a year after I sold it for $10,000. I saw Herb when I finally got a chance to meet him. I saw him
Hey,
and
you
said,
gotta
"One
pay-
day you and I are going to sit and talk. You owe me $490,000."
Hey, you got a income from it every month for a while? And we had some fun there.
Oh, it was a great time, you know. And the sad thing was, you know, we had like 20, 25 people that's all they had, you know, that worked for us, you know, and that's why you wanted to keep it
You had
going as
loyal
long as you
workforce,
can.
too. Most of them
yeah,
stayed
they were
there
all
forever.
good people. Yeah, all good people.
They're all there.
Yeah,
They all had your back, too.
yeah, all good.
Good people.
Those are fun times.
Oh, good. Well, you guys ready to wrap it up?
I'm ready, Freddie. Thanks for
Well,
having us
well, you guys
today.
got to throw another song on
Yeah,
there.
let's-
How
okay.
play something you played earlier? You know, you got to do one for the commissioner.
Yeah,
Come on, man.
yeah, come on.
I mean, look at that playlist that
I'm
he has on the.
gonna- I'm
you know,
gonna,
when you saw his,
Would
when
be
you saw
playing
his,
I knew.
when he has that playlist on there.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Just give me the most familiar Left End song that you play. I just want it to be Left End.
Probably Cyclone Rider, I guess. Right?
I guess.
I got
Don't you
that
think?
one.
Bad talking lady.
Yeah.
Yeah, we had talking later. Yeah.
Oh, you know what
I don't know.
That's all you get.
That's all you get.
That's great.
Oh, that was
That's
awesome,
great.
man.
I thought I
That
was going to get
awesome.
lucky and pick it up.
Hey, thank you for coming.
Oh no, thank you.
We didn't get the arcade meister.
Hey guys, man, I'll tell you what a great afternoon. Dave, thanks for stopping by, man. Awesome
Jenny, I
time.
said hi.
Tommy,
Yeah, it was good seeing
great
you
to
again.
see you.
Tommy, God
You know,
bless
Good to see you, buddy.
Boy, I've been
see
rocking
you.
with this
Invite
guy.
me to one of
Jerry-
your meetings next time.
Yeah.
There you go, Jerry Centifanti.
Love you, friends.
Oh, what a great time. Our producer, Mario, thanks for everything,
Okay, Mario.
I hope
Thanks,
everybody
Mario.
had a good time. And, man, Tommy, thanks for coming down and just
Oh,
sharing your stories,
thanks for
bringing the
having me.
guitars down. Dave, all the great stories about the arcade. That's one of those
Yeah.
places that so many people have so many great memories about the arcade. And, of course,
I
Left
spilled
End.
a
That's
beer
big
down
stuff.
my wife's back of her jeans there one night. That's the
Really?
first night I took her out.
Get out of here.
Yeah, see, we almost didn't make it. Beer.
Well,
was
they were.
it.
I'm waiting for the punchline. That's
Yeah,
it.
I didn't know where he was going with that.
No,
one.
I did.
Well, at least it was only a 25-cent beer.
Yeah, the
so
bar was
we
right
were-
there. Yeah, it
There
was.
you go, man. It was only
She
a
wanted
25
to
cent
drop
beer.
too. I said,
Yeah.
get a can.
Yeah.
I can't spill a can like that. I hear you, man.
All right. Well, thanks, guys. Thanks,
Oh,
Mario.
thank you.
Thanks, Mario.
Everybody for tuning in. Well, I didn't
Yeah,
realize
you're
we
one of
had
those
the
people.
fireplace.
Yeah,
It's
yeah.
not like we were sitting around the fireplace.
Yeah.
There's
You heard
people,
about my
the office holders, the people that do this every day, like you. And
Boy, what a
there's
great
the
time.
people
Everybody have
across
fun?
the street. And you taught me that more than anybody. People across the street are the ones that they don't get behind the scenes. They are going to vote for what they want to vote for,
They
and
just, whatever's on the news, that's all they know. You know, they don't do research. They don't know like the inner, what's going on in the party and with the candidates and all that. But yeah, the people across the street, the voters.
the voters. And those are the people we're talking to, and maybe
Yeah.
maybe they never pulled a Republican ballot before. Maybe they never. Maybe
how you
they
feel?
root for Trump on TV, or they root for they root for the good guys. They root for the red side. But